returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer steady monthly payouts plus double-digit annualized returns. As 15-year industry leaders, they've seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Monday, I am thinking about a very underreported story. Violence in some American public high schools. Yes, we hear about the shoot-'em-ups, and they're horrible, but what we don't hear about is that thousands of American teachers are being terrorized by students in the classrooms, especially in the inner cities. Now, I taught high school in Opelika, Florida, a ghetto north of Miami. Back then, if a kid got out of line in the classroom, you could take that person out of the class, down to the principal's office, and he would be sanctioned. It was a private school, but in public schools in Dade County, they had a system whereby disruptive students were taken out of the classroom and sent to another facility called Opportunity School. Now, that doesn't exist. So teachers are actually cursed out by some students in the classrooms. They are physically threatened. And weak principals, and believe me, they are legion, say, well, what do you want me to do about it? The lack of discipline and the collapse of learning in American public high schools is a disaster. Now this. For most folks, getting out of an unused timeshare is a top priority. With the bill always around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of people just like you and me for over a decade. They'll get you out of your timeshare quickly, legally, and ethically, guaranteed. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Gary Nolan here for Echo Water. One of the best things about Echo Water water softeners is how long they last. We've had systems last our customers for 20 years or more, and that's why we use high-quality American-made products. But even these systems need an upgrade every once in a while. Let Aqua Adam and the team at Echo Water put in a new system that will last you for the next 20 years, and they'll even give you $200 off on new systems until the end of the year. Your water perfected. EchoWaterMidmo.com.
Connecting the dots in your daily life can be a real challenge. You're a mother, an entrepreneur, a coach, a chef, a friend, a manager, even a chauffeur. There's a lot to manage, especially when it comes to money. And it changes every day. At Commerce Bank, we've got the tools and talent to help you. Commerce Bank. Challenge accepted. Visit us at commercebank.com. Member FDIC.
News, analysis, opinion. We're 93.9 The Eagle, KSSC, Fayette, Columbia, a free service of Zimmer Communications.
So much destruction. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We had major loss of life, and we're still taking care of that. The daylight hours have been few.
Mayor Todd Alcott in Bowling Green, Kentucky, one of many communities torn apart by Saturday's twisters. Fox's Caroline Shively's in Mayfield, Kentucky.
This destruction goes on not just for blocks, but for miles and miles. One of these tornadoes is thought to have tracked through Kentucky more than 230 miles, killing people in its wake.
Now, the governor initially said he expects as many as 100 deaths, then later said perhaps half that, so it's unclear exactly how many were killed. The storms also hit other states where at least 14 people were also killed, with a lot of damage and power outages like in Kentucky. Those states include Arkansas, Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee. The federal government's out there helping. Fox's Evan Brown is on this live.
Yeah, Dave, President Biden is declaring a federal disaster in 8 Kentucky counties following that tornado strike. These disaster declarations free up money and resources to help cover first responder costs, provide emergency shelter, food, and medical care, and to start paying out for uninsured losses to homeowners and business operators. The president will also get a briefing today from the FEMA director and his Homeland Security advisors, Dave.
Now, Evan, there's Sky News is reporting the first death in Britain blamed on the Omicron COVID variant. It has spread to 30 states here in the U.S. also and Washington, D.C. Here in New York, a new mandate takes effect today. Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul announced it on Friday.
We are enacting a statewide indoor mask mandate unless a business has a vaccination mandate.
Health departments will enforce that mask policy, some Republican-led counties refusing to do so. There's a search in the Houston, Texas area for the suspects in a drive-by shooting last night that left 1 person dead, 13 injured on a candlelight vigil that was honoring someone who had died recently. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
More than 1 in 3 people will face cancer in their lifetime. Unfortunately, fear can stop you from getting your cancer screening, but it won't stop cancer. Early detection can save your life. Don't wait for symptoms to appear to act. Cancer screening is safe, effective, and accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com right now for free screening resources and recommendations from the American Cancer Society. Don't wait. Early detection can save your life. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com today. cancerscreeninfo.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 6:03. Our forecast for today, sunshine with a high of 60 degrees. Clear skies tonight with a low near 43. And right now we're at 35 degrees. Pleasant conditions here in Columbia. It's 34 in Jefferson City. Our sun will rise at 7:18 this morning. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. 48 members from Columbia-based Missouri Task Force 1 are on the highway this morning as we speak. They are heading to tornado-damaged Kentucky.
Mid-Missouri-based Task Force 1 is activated to be deployed to Kentucky in response to the devastating tornadoes that hit that state. The task force will be headed to Murray State University to stage and await their mission assignment. They are due to arrive in Kentucky this morning. John Marsh, 93.9 The Eagle.
John, thanks. USA Today is reporting the tornado's path could go down is the longest in American history. It began in Arkansas, killed 3 people in far southeast Missouri. USA Today reporting that. Task Force 1 bringing 35 personnel, 10 ground support personnel, 3 members who will serve on FEMA's incident support team. Despite several tornado warnings here in mid-Missouri Friday evening, there were no reports of deaths in our listening area. The National Weather Service issuing tornado warnings for Cole, Callaway, Audrain, Montgomery, and Osage counties. Governor Parsons says at least 4 people were killed statewide during Friday night's tornadoes. That includes 3 people in Pemiscot County in the Boot Heel. The governor says the storm's killing a semi-driver on I-55 and another motorist on Highway 84. Governor Parsons has spoken to President Biden about federal resources for the impacted communities. Columbia School Board is reviewing the recent letter from Missouri's Attorney General about mask requirements in a Cole County judge's November ruling. The board is scheduled to vote tonight on whether or not to extend the district's indoor mask requirement. CPS students and staff have been required to wear masks indoors since August. Attorney General Eric Schmidt has demanded that CPS and other districts rescind their mask mandates. The board meets tonight at 6:30. You could also be voting in April on an $80 million bond issue for CPS, Columbia Public Schools. CPS and the board will hear a report about the no tax increase bond
issue tonight. CPS's Michelle Baumstark tells the Eagle the board will vote on the issue in January. The board's packet says money from the bond issue would fund numerous projects across the district, including a new elementary school. Money would also be used to repair and replace roofs, windows, heating, and air conditioning units, parking lots as well. Columbia police need your help in finding the suspect or suspects who fired 4 shots early Sunday morning near Trinity Place in Park. That is just west of North Providence. ABC 17's Ben Fine was on scene minutes after the gunfire happened.
Once I arrived at the scene, I saw multiple police officers searching the area with flashlights and speaking with people on the scene, which you can see on your screen now. Police were also able to confirm with me that no one was injured in the shooting and told me they do not have any suspect information at this time.
As ABC 17's Ben Fine reporting from Trinity Place in Park. Anyone with information is urged to call Columbia Crime Stoppers 573-875-TIPS. Mr. Fine also reporting that just minutes after that happened at Trinity Place in Park, there was a large Columbia Police presence near the AutoZone on the business loop. Apparently a shots fired incident near that area as well. There have been several incidents near that AutoZone, according to Columbia Police. No injuries are reported in whatever happened outside or near the AutoZone. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you on this Monday morning by AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning, ensuring the air in which you live and breathe is comfortable and clean. For all your heating needs, log on to airserve.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:07. In sports, the Kansas City Chiefs now in first place in the AFC West. An impressive game yesterday. 9-4 the Chiefs are right now. They beat Las Vegas Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium 48-9, the final score there. College hoops, number 8 KU pounding Mizzou Saturday afternoon in Lawrence, 102-65. Yeah, that was a tough one. Hy-Vee hoops border showdown.
Come on, Brian.
2 players from the Show Me State. This doesn't get a lot better here, my friend.
Thank you.
I'll just give you a warning.
All right.
We'll give you a warning on this. 2 players from the Show Me State, Oak Park's Ochi Abaji and Rockridge's DeJuan Harris led the Jayhawks with 21 and 13 points, respectively. KU's won 8 of the last 9 in the series. Definitely, Branden, not a good game Saturday.
Thanks, Hauswirth.
For Mizzou. Our sports is brought to you this hour by Club Car Wash. ClubCarWash.com. Find a location near you. Our news time, 6:08. All right, Kevin, thanks. Our weather is brought to you by Club Car Wash. Get an unlimited membership, $20 a month. ClubCarWash.com. Find a location near you. It's 35 degrees.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
6:08 here on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com. Traffic check with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Roads are pretty quiet right now in mid-Missouri. If you want to report a traffic issue, call or text us 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
So this is what we believe will be the longest tornado in U.S. history on the ground consecutively, at least 227 miles, but 200 of those were in Kentucky. I've talked to the governors of neighboring states. We're all working to recover through this.
I talked to President Biden yesterday. He assured that they would cut through any red tape that was necessary. They want to help in the response. And so that helps build confidence. We've got to make the assessment and then determine exactly what those dollar figures are.
Shelter is a huge issue right now. There's areas without power, but what we see mostly, what I've seen as an emergency manager, is that many people will stay with friends and family.
Bums me out this is happening during the holidays. It's always an ugly thing when you have tornadoes, any kind of weather that gets in the way of human life and destroys things and kills people. This massive outbreak of tornadoes over the weekend, basically late Friday night into early Saturday morning. As a matter of fact, we were seeing some tales of this about 5:30 Friday night, some warnings for the area, but we never got really anything specifically right here in our area.
We had several tornado warnings, and Carson, our colleague, and Jeremy Washington had some live coverage on a few of our stations. Nothing real specifically for Boone County. The tornado warnings, Branden, were for Cole, Callaway, Audrain, Montgomery, and Osage. Now, I'm told that the Walmart in Mexico evacuated at one point. No injuries there. Some storm damage in Cole County, but relatively quiet. We drove through a storm, but there was nothing severe on Friday. But in terms of what we're talking about here in the Boot Heel in Kentucky, just awful.
So Friday night, heading to Booneville, going to the casino, and crossing the bridge as traffic is slowed to the bridge at Rocheport. We're getting a new one. 40 miles an hour, raining sideways, semis with their flashers on, and I'm thinking, come on, bridge, come on, bridge. I've never wanted a bridge so badly in my life. So one of the things that's happening, Missouri Task Force 1, these guys and their Herculean efforts, anytime we have something that goes wrong anywhere really here in the United States of America, man, Gail Blomenkamp with the Boone County Emergency Operations Center and these folks, it was amazing. I'm watching the coverage on ABC 17 News this morning, and about 50 people, I think like 48 people that are going to be taken away from their families for a while. They're getting into some real ugly stuff, by the way, while they're there. They're going to areas they don't know, dealing with officials they don't know. They just know they're there to help. But watching the news coverage on ABC 17, and we talk to Gail Blomenkamp every time these guys go, but man, you see what a massive undertaking this is.
It really is, and I saw the same coverage that you have talked about, and basically you're right. It's 48 members, 35 personnel, 10 ground support personnel, 3 members who will go with the FEMA Incident Support Team, 100,000 pounds of equipment. In Branden, generally with Task Force 1, it's generally it's hurricanes, deadly hurricanes, and it's ice storms. You and I talked off air. Now, they also went with 9/11. Obviously, that was a terrorist attack, and they were there for several weeks, and they've been at some other. But I don't recall in recent memory, and if Gail calls in, we'll try to verify it. I don't remember the last time they've been deployed for a tornado event that I can recall. It perhaps it's happened and I just don't remember, but this is just so horrific. It's just absolutely horrible.
So earlier estimates, the governor of Kentucky, Beshears, I think at one point had said as many as 100 people dead. He's scaling back on that. One of the things that we are pretty sure about is apparently just through Kentucky, this one tornado, I think 230-something miles that it went through the state of Kentucky, where we've seen most of the damage, most of the destruction. So we're thinking of our brothers there in Kentucky. And Task Force 1, these folks, what these folks do, and I'll go back to, when they show up, they're going to a strange town. They don't know the officials. It's not like they're covering stuff here where they can go, oh, hey, Mayor Treese, can you help us with this? Dan Atwell, presiding county commissioner, where do we go for this? State Rep Cherie Tolson-Rice, they don't know anybody. And these rescue efforts, if you've ever been involved in one or you go to help, it's almost a disaster in and of itself, because it's great. Everybody's showing up, wants to help, but it's hard. Okay, who's in charge? Who's the point person? That's the point person. Okay, then that point person tells this group where to go. Where do we need? And it's really, it's a pretty remarkable effort, and it can be confusing, and it can get people angry. So, well, we need help over here. Well, we need help over here. So what Task Force 1 is going into It's not like you just show up, hey, here's some gloves in a plastic bag, start cleaning up. It's not like that.
That's exactly right, and it's very similar to the power restoration that we've seen if Columbia Water and Light may have not yet, or Boone Electric when they go into these type of things, very similar to what you're saying, and they really rely on the local people as the incident commanders. That said, generally, it's pretty well run. It really is. The only other thing I would add, there's a term that I had never heard before, and this is in the, because I follow the National Weather Service closely, they're calling this the longest lived. Now, tornado is correct, but they're also referring to it as the longest lived, the National Weather Service in Memphis, mesocyclone ever. And if you look up mesocyclone, I'd never heard that term. It is basically a gigantic supercell. And I saw some pictures of it. I'd never heard that term. And if that's what it was, oh my goodness. So tornado, mesocyclone, whatever we call this, just absolutely horrible. And it's even worse than the 1925 tornado that took a very similar path.
Power outages still in neighboring Kentucky, and right where that little, if you're looking at a map, little part where Missouri does touch Kentucky, Pemiscot County, that area, some pretty severe damage there. And then a little bit closer to home, if you keep going east and you cross the Missouri River, just across the river in Illinois, some pretty serious damage.
Well, that was absolutely terrible. That was at the Amazon facility in Edwardsville, not far from Pontoon Beach, and the Weather Service has been doing survey. It appears to me, just looking at the map, and they're still doing surveys, that whatever hit Defiance took a path and then went across the river into, that was an EF3, by the way. They're still studying the one in Edwardsville, but it hit the Amazon facility. Now, Amazon has taken some criticism online that I've noticed. There are some that were critical that why were those workers in the plant. I'm talking about
because it's Christmas. People need their Christmas presents to go out in the mail.
Yeah, but it was just a number of there was fatalities and a lot of people trapped under rubble there as well. Governor J.B. Pritzker was down there in Edwardsville on it would have been on Saturday, but that was just devastating.
And another disaster: the Columbia Public School District. School board meets tonight, and we're looking at some districts, and not just school districts, but other government entities across the country. And you're looking at a lot of them, for example, schools, I believe in Sedalia, they said, yeah, if the Attorney General says we need to abide by a judge's orders, we're going to do that. Laclede County Health Department of Missouri, same thing. There are counties all across the state of Missouri that are saying, yeah, hey, this is what the Attorney General says. And it's not what he says, it's what he is saying, based on the ruling of a judge, by the way. But important meeting tonight with Columbia Public School Board.
There's quite a bit on the agenda, and I've just kind of touched the surface in my reporting because there's a lot more that's going on. I mean, we've got an $80 million bond issue that they're going to be discussing, voting on in January. That's huge, potentially new elementary school. There's a lot of renovation work at the schools, but by far the biggest item on the agenda, Branden, is what you referred to. The board will vote. It will be a vote. It's an action item on whether or not to extend the district's indoor mask requirement. And what Michelle told me, Baumstark, is that the board is in receipt of both letters. It's really up to the board at this point. So we'll see what happens. I have no idea.
I will say this, and some folks are going to go, what the heck is he talking about? I got to compliment Columbia Public School District. I don't like anything that they are doing. My biggest issue, all that political BS and the lying, them lying about CRT and them not understanding the Constitution where we have choice in America, all that stuff. The thing that frustrates me the most is their failure to communicate, lack of communication. They don't get it. And they'll tell you, we've communicated, we've sent emails. That's complete and utter horse. Their parents. You got to read the room, and they just simply are not doing it. And this stuff, and I'm not saying it has anything to do with or whatever, but I'll tell you, this stuff didn't happen when Dr. Pete Stiepelman was around. I will say that. He was out front, he was honest, and he was engaging, and he could tell you, he could deliver news that you didn't like, but he could do it with empathy. The administration and people within the school district have a complete lack of empathy for parents. But I will say this about them. I do have to compliment them. They're staying true to their word. Even if it's wrong, they're not budging. on this. Go to that school board meeting tonight, and I will tell you this, some of the things I have heard from parents about how they're letting people in, what time they let people in. It sounds sketchy. Now, I say that. I haven't been to a school board meeting in a while. I have been to several here in the district, though. But it sounds par for the course. If you are going, you don't have to have a kid in the school district, man. You live here. You can go and have your say-so. Just get there early. I think the meeting starts at 6:30, but get there way earlier. Welcome into Wake Up Columbia. There is Hannah, the producer.
Good morning.
My name is Branden. Rathert. Brian Hauswirth is here. Stephanie has the day off. FEMA coming out, talking about before we go, because we do want to get into your daily D.C. rundown this morning here on 93.9 The Eagle. We're going to go to Florida. That'll be our first story. Something very interesting happening there. That was quick. I didn't think it was going to take this long. Rash of tornadoes, some affecting us here in the Show Me states. The reason, according to FEMA,
this is going to be our new normal, and the effects that we're seeing from climate change.
Oh, there it is, climate change. I didn't think it would be this quick, Hannah.
Man, first it was turkeys.
Turkeys, climate change. That's why we don't have turkeys. Climate change.
Turkeys, tornadoes. What's the third T?
I don't know. I was surprised. I thought they could have gone with, I almost thought maybe they were going to go with
You're listening to Wake Up Columbia with Branden Rathert on 93.9 The Eagle.
And I've gotten to spend Sunday mornings with you. It may sound corny, but I feel we've built a community here. There's a lot you can do on Sunday mornings. The fact you've chosen to spend this hour with us is something I cherish. But after 18 years, I have decided to leave Fox. I want to try something new, to go beyond politics to all the things I'm interested in. I'm ready for a new adventure, and I hope you'll check it out.
Chris Wallace leaving Fox News, announcing on air yesterday, really no heads up for anybody. He just announces, guess where he's going. I know a lot of folks here don't. Listen, I don't watch a lot of these cable news outlets, but I know when I did, I watched Fox's Chris Wallace on occasion. It was fun. I know a lot of people do not like the guy. He's a registered Democrat. And as far as people like him, Brett Baer, and Bill Hemmer on Fox, all pretty solid news people. Leaving, he's going, Chris Wallace, going to a CNN streaming service. Probably a bunch of folks right now this morning at 6:28 in the D.C. Rundown going, yep, sounds about right. All right, let's move forward here in the Rundown. By the way, Stephanie Bell has the day off. I do have your daily D.C. Rundown. This is the first time, and this is big for the rest of the country too, in Florida. First time it has ever happened, at least in modern history. Registered, because in Florida, you have to, when you register, you have to say, hey, I'm a Republican or Democrat. I don't like that. I just want to be a registered voter. Anyhow, in Florida, for the first time in modern history, registered Republican voters outnumber Democrats. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis heading into a re-election campaign buoyed by a national profile and a cash reserve unmatched by any Democratic challenger. Now, I wonder what that does, because he's running for re-election in 2022. So I'm wondering what his plans might be for 2024. And by the way, one of the reasons I do not like, you got to read, it's BS. It just strengthens that R's and D's. I just want to be a registered voter. I don't want to be held. And in Florida, when I lived there, you couldn't vote in primaries. And it's like, well, I just want to vote for the best candidate in this. I don't want to vote on party. And you have to, because you have to register with your party. And I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but I've been in a state that's done it. I would say that to people who haven't lived in a state that does that. Live in a state for a couple of elections and then see how you think about it. You might have the same takeaway, or maybe not. And that is your daily DC Rundown on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com, where you can listen live. You can also watch on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube. Search 93.9 The Eagle Live. He pops up. That way, everybody running around the house this morning can hear all the latest news, hear everything that's happening, and you can get some behind-the-scenes info, too. Fox News is here assessing tornado damage from the 5 states across the country, including Missouri. And what we're doing here locally, Brian Hauswirth has that story for you coming up at 6:31. Then at 6:35, Randy Minchew, mayoral candidate in Columbia, he is saying we're searching for a city administrator right now. He says we should hold off until we elect the mayor. We've kind of seen that on a national level, but on a local level, that's new. I want to get his thoughts on that. He is here at 6:35. I have your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast. Sunny, 60 today, clear and 43 tonight. Tomorrow, high 66. Right now, it's 40. Stop by Club Car Wash. Get an unlimited membership. They're only $20 a month. More details at clubcarwash.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. At least 80 deaths are confirmed in Kentucky from the tornado that hit there and 4 other states Saturday. Congressman James Comer tells Fox more than 1,000 homes are destroyed or badly damaged in western Kentucky.
Right now we have temporary housing with the state parks. We have a lot of neighbors who have opened up their homes to many of these people who are now homeless.
President Biden's approved a disaster declaration to free up federal aid there.
President Biden says he does plan to visit Kentucky, but any presidential visit requires resources. So for now, he says he wants to wait until a time when he won't be in the way. Yesterday, Director of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas and FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell traveled to Kentucky. There they were briefed by local officials and discussed federal assistance.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. New York State's mask mandate for indoor public places starts today in places where coronavirus vaccinations are not required. America's listening to Fox News.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. 6:31 is our time. It's 35 degrees right now in Columbia, 34 degrees in Jefferson City. We're expecting a high today of around 60 degrees. Sunshine for the forecast. The outlook for tonight, clear skies, low near 43. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. 48 members of Missouri Task Force 1 are heading as we speak to tornado-damaged Kentucky this morning in response to devastating tornadoes there. Dozens of people were killed in the storms in Kentucky. The governor there calls it the worst tornado event in state history. Columbia-based Task Force 1 heading to Murray State. That's in Murray, Kentucky, not far from Sikeston and Charleston, Missouri. They'll be awaiting their mission. Assignment should arrive about 8 o'clock this morning. Missouri's governor says at least 4 people have been killed in the Show Me State from Friday night's devastating tornadoes. A woman killed inside her home in St. Charles County, a town near Defiance. EF3 tornado there. 3 people also dying in southeast Missouri's Pemiscot County. Governor Parson in the Defiance area in Pemiscot County on Sunday. He says the National Weather Service issued 31 tornado warnings in Missouri on Friday night. Several of those were issued here in mid-Missouri. Cole, Callaway, Audrain, Montgomery, Osage counties all had tornado warnings, according to Missouri Governor Mike Parson. He has spoken to President Biden about federal resources for the communities impacted by the deadly tornadoes. Columbia School Board Finance Committee will be voting tonight on whether or not to extend the indoor mask requirement. The board meets at 6:30. The mask issue is an action item on the agenda. Columbia School Board Finance Committee has voted to recommend placing an $80 million bond issue on the April ballot. The board will hear a report about that issue at tonight's meeting. CPS's Michelle Baumstark tells 93.9 The Eagle the proposed bond issue would fund numerous projects, including a new elementary school career center improvements as well. In Wednesday is your opportunity to help feed hungry neighbors across central and northeast Missouri. It's the Commerce Bank 1-for-1 food drive at Columbia Mall. It's sponsored by Zimmer Radio Group. Proceeds will go to the food bank for central and northeast Missouri, which uses all the money for food. Food Bank President Lindsay Young Lopez tells 93.9 The Eagle it's been a challenging time for her staff members and also for her volunteers.
In COVID-19 times as well, food bankers are considered essential workers, and this is hard work that we are all doing on an ongoing basis, especially our drivers and those in the warehouse, those at our central pantry.
A $25 donation can provide at least 100 meals. 93.9 The Eagle will have live reports from Columbia Mall Wednesday from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:33. In sports, we'll start with the NFL. The Chiefs now 9-4. They beat Las Vegas 48-9 Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Chiefs now in first place in the AFC West. How about the Mizzou women's basketball team? 9-2 right now, beating Alabama A&M Sunday at Mizzou Arena, 69-55. Asia Blackwell leading Mizzou 20 points, 20 rebounds as well. Haley Franks, 17.6 boards. Mizzou winning it again. They're now 9-2. Missouri men, a tough game Saturday afternoon in Lawrence. Ivy Hoops Border Showdown. Kansas wins that game 102-65. Mizzou now 5-5 on the year. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:35. And our traffic check, 6:35, is brought to you by MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. MidmoHires.com. Find a job, post your job opening today. Roads right now pretty quiet in mid-Missouri. Weather is pretty pleasant. We should be fine this week. I don't see anything severe for this week, but certainly we'll keep an eye on that. If you want to report a traffic issue, call or text us 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. We have breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
This is going to be our new normal, and the effects that we're seeing from climate change are the crisis of our generation.
48 hours. That's how long it took for FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell to say it's climate change. That's why we had some weather. It wasn't just weather, see, it was climate change. Any weather, it's because of climate change. That's how it goes. Welcome into the show. This is Wake Up Columbia. I am Branden Rathert. Stephanie Bell has the day off. There's Mr. Brian Hauswirth.
Good morning, sir.
Hannah, the producer, is here.
Good morning.
My name is Branden Rathert. If there's something that we can do for you today, please let us know. 874-9390. Here's something we've seen, and it's coming close to home now. We've seen this sometimes on a national level. Merrick Garland. Remember, Obama was on his way out, and Republicans, they didn't want to hold a hearing to approve him to become a part of SCOTUS. The argument was, hey, listen, we're getting ready to change presidents here. We think we should wait. And that tactic, because there's no law that says you do have to wait or that you don't have to. It was just strictly, it was a political move, and in that situation, it worked. I don't know if we're better off for it because that guy now heads the Department of Justice, and it's almost like he's a pissed off second grader and he's seeking revenge. Ha ha ha! I'll show you for not even holding hearings on me in the Supreme Court. I'm going to be the worst DOJ head that anybody has ever seen. But now we're seeing something locally. We have a city manager, and Mr. John Glasscock. He's on his way out. We also have a municipal election. Mayor Brian Treese has said, hey, I'm not going to run for mayor again. So we have at least one mayoral candidate. Randy Minchew says we should wait. Randy, welcome into the show. So what's your reasoning in saying we should wait in appointing a city administrator?
Well, you're about to seat a new government. There's two new city council, or at least two positions. One may be the incumbent. And you're definitely going to have a new mayor. And because of the relationship between the city manager and the city council and the mayor, to me, it kind of makes sense. Now, I'm not opposed to them doing what they're doing. They're seated. It's the current city government. They have every right to do it. But if you're going to do it the right way, and let's be transparent. We didn't hire you to go into secrecy. We didn't elect you to go into secrecy. This is not the way you do things. So either hold off or do it the right way.
And here's what our guest, by the way, mayoral candidate in Columbia, Randy Minchew. As I'm thinking, it does kind of, and I hadn't thought about it, and I don't know how much are us peons supposed to know when it comes to who it is that's going to be leading us and telling us what to do? Never really thought about it that much. But as I've been looking, I recalled that there was a headline the other day, and I think it was the Missourian, and they used the phrase like shrouded in secrecy. Yeah, with decision this is from a headline dated December 7th. With decision shrouded in secrecy, city manager update promised December 20th. I thought that was in some interesting use of adjectives from the Missourian. Shrouded in secrecy. Do you agree that this has been a secretive process thus far?
Well, and my statement came out the day after that lady Brooke wrote that article, and so it was, like I said, part of my point was do it the right way. There's nothing that we elected you to do that you need to be secretive about. We elected you to listen to us. Now, obviously, the whole city can't hire a city manager. This is what we elected you to do. But as it turns out, there were some updates they could give us because they came out and gave us the updates after having to be called to the table for being shrouded in secrecy.
I was going to say the timing on this, Randy, is kind of interesting because this article, and the woman you're referring to, Brooke Muckerman, December the 7th, is the headline that includes the phrase shrouded in secrecy. So that's Friday. You and I think we talked a little bit Thursday night, early Friday morning. We have that headline, shrouded in secrecy. The next day, and it was interesting the way this came about, and Brian Hauswirth will get my back on this. In journalism, if somebody wants to bury information, but they have to put it out there, you release it. Late on a Friday. Guess what the city did on Friday, Randy? They came out, well, we're getting close, and they didn't call it secrecy, but it's important that we be mum about this. I thought the timing quite interesting.
Well, I mean, I'll give them this. They were at least listening to
the people,
to the headlines.
Oh.
But that's why I said, if you're not going to do this right, then just wait. Hire an interim. Let the next sitting government do it. Because this is not the way I would have done it. It would have been transparent. I'm not saying I would have told the public who the candidates were going to be, because that wouldn't be proper. But where we are in the process, there's nothing secretive about that. And there's no reason not to respond. The thing, it bugs me, you get elected, you get an email address, and then you don't answer some of the emails. If you're going to answer the emails, if you're going to correspond. If you're not, then we elected you for something other than listening. And in my mind, that's the reason you get elected, to listen to the citizens of Columbia.
Randy, that's been my experience too. Sometimes I email these the folks on the city council. Sometimes I don't get responses. And check this out. Is true. This is just between me and you, okay? Do I have your word, Randy? This is just between the two of us.
I do.
So I was at an event, and it was kind of like a highfalutin, like I had to put on shoes even and a jacket to go to this thing. And I'm standing with, and that happens to be one of the city council members there, and they were talking, and I dipped in on their conversation, even though it was a private conversation, because they said something about responding to media emails and responding to constituent emails. And it was a guy who said this. I don't want to give names. I don't want to embarrass the dude. But I guess he took time off from playing tennis to say, I don't respond to emails from some media outlets. Said it. He thought it was in a private conversation with his friends. He said, I don't always, and I don't think he meant every news outlet, because I see he talks to some news outlets, but not all of them. Anyhow, Randy Minchew, running for mayor, he's here talking about his idea. He thinks city officials should wait on hiring a city administrator until after the election, so that way the new mayor and potentially new city council members can have some say-so in this.
Yeah, Branden, thanks so much. Randy, we appreciate you coming on and joining us live on Wake Up Columbia. Two quick points, one a point and then a question here. Branden's right. We did get a statement from Sydney Olson, who is the spokesperson for the city, and I don't know if that came in Friday night, Saturday, but I do have it. And basically, to me, the headline from that is that they've interviewed 3 candidates in person, and they continue to screen. They're working on the process. So that is there. Quite frankly, with the tornadoes and with the mask and other stuff that we had a shots fired incident, I don't have it really high up in my newscast, although I'm aware of it, so I want to put that out there. But I want to ask about, to Branden's point, to what you're talking about this search for a city manager. Do you think, because I look at the agenda every Friday before they're going to meet, and I look at the pre-council, I look at the council, I look at the reports. It hasn't been on there, at least recently that I've seen a discussion item. Do you think it should be an item on the agenda, let's say at the next meeting or a future meeting where the council maybe updates the public about what's going on? Is that something you think should happen or not?
Well, I think it's something that has to happen. It's the next head of our city. I mean, the city manager runs all the departments. He's the manager over the city. The mayor and city council run the council meetings. The mayor is in charge of running the council. The city manager's job is the most important job in the city. So, like I said, you don't have to give details, but give us an update. Guess what? We're interested. It's our city. We'd like to know. And if it's easy enough to come out after Brooke, because I know the timeline. Brooke came out with her article. I came out with my statement. Now there's a statement about there being 3 candidates. Mm-hmm. They've known that all along. Just tell us that. That's all. Just tell us where we are. We're down to 3 candidates. We interviewed 25. We're down to 3, and we're going to make a decision on the 20th.
Communication, how important is that? Because that's one of the things, and it is communication. And I know that's something that you are big on, and I bring that up because Columbia Public Schools, and I know that would be out of your purview should you become mayor, but you're still the mayor and you're a taxpayer and you live here, so you have an interest too in the schools. But that's one of the biggest issues with the Columbia Public Schools is just the way they communicate. It's just so dismissive, and these parents they come to me in tears. They're posting videos that goes Columbia viral on social media because the school does such a poor job at communicating. And I will say this, I don't think that ever happened when Dr. Pete Stiepelman was in charge. We never encountered that. Let me ask you this before we let you go. It'd be cool to see you at that school board meeting tonight. Let's just play around a little bit, Minchew. Let's say you're on the school board. They're going to be voting on extending this mask mandate, which Attorney General Eric Schmidt, or as Mark McCloskey calls him, Big Eric, is reminding the school, hey, a judge ruled on this. You need to get with the program. And separately, we are investigating. The Attorney General, this is not a lawsuit, the Attorney General of the state of Missouri is investigating our local school district that almost 20,000 kids go to. That's how inept they have been in recent memory. If you were on the school board tonight, how would you vote on this mask mandate?
Well, I think what's important is not necessarily what I think, but what do the parents of the students think? We put 7 kids through Rockbridge, for three kids that we raised from a family member and 4 of our own. And when my kids were in school, I had an opinion about what was going on in the school.
Okay.
And I pay taxes today, but I think if you just listen to the parents, you would know which way to go if you're a school board member. If you're on the school board, I think you would know. Listening to the parents. Usually,
I'd call you on that. Oh, come on, Randy, you're evading the question. But I'll take that. Actually, what would you do if you were on the school board tonight? I would listen to what the parents are telling me and the taxpayers. I'll take it.
Obviously, don't want to break the law.
Well, and Eric Schmidt is reminding them, hey, y'all don't want to be breaking the law, do you? Randy Minchew, candidate for Columbia Mayor website or anything you want to give out? Any events coming up before we let you go?
No, Christmas would be the next thing, and we're trying not to make that a political event. So I would say Merry Christmas to everyone, and then I believe after that we'll get into full swing with the mayor's race.
All right, Randy Minchew, local businessman, been here for a long time, running for mayor. Thank you so much for your time on the show this morning. We do appreciate it. Coming up, we have your daily DC rundown. Is that a phone charger in your pocket? Are you just happy to see me? That's coming up 6:57. Lights, by the way, that's the thing they've been doing. I'm guessing any really super sharp Christmas lights you've been seeing, Christmas lights, Salter does that. So think about that for next year. Now, moving forward, we're just, 10 days away from the start of winter, and we know snow is going to come. Hard to believe since it's going to be 73 Wednesday during our 1-for-1 holiday food drive with Commerce Bank, but it is going to snow. If you have a snow plow that needs to be attached to your ride and mower or your truck, they can attach that for you at Salter Lawn Service. Call them; they'll do it for you. Maybe you've got a snow blower. When was the last time you had that thing? The bearings oiled, the oil changed, things like that. Listen, blowing snow is fun. It is, right? We call it work. Don't worry, honey, I got this. And then 8 hours later, after blowing your sidewalk, you come in. The maintenance isn't fun. That's why you should call Salter Lawn Service. Salter, one call, does it all.
political opinion, we got your back. Wake Up Columbia, 93.9 The Eagle.
Afghanistan. Well, I've been against that war in Afghanistan from the very beginning. We're spending $300 million a week in Afghanistan over 20 years. Now, everybody says you could have gotten out without anybody being hurt.
See, Joe Biden, yes, I can't remember who it was, ABC, CBS, NBC, saying I've never been in favor of the war in Afghanistan. However, just as a point of fact, when he was Senator Joe Biden, he did vote in favor of it. And he's had him and the truth with his opinion on Afghanistan has had a sordid history, shall you say. He says, I've never been for that war in Afghanistan. Well, don't look at the voting rolls from the year we voted to go to war against Afghanistan, because that would contradict what your president is telling you today. Now, and the other thing he has said when it comes to his wicked relationship with the truth, and as it relates to Afghanistan, he was talking about how, yes, and we, when I was vice president, we got Osama. We made the tough decision. And that stuff, he's lying to you. One time during kind of like a round table. Why are you laughing at me, Hannah?
I'm just laughing because it reminds me of somebody else who likes to use the word we.
We messed up. We made a mistake. We appreciate your very kind comments on our pictures from the Christmas party this past Friday. Hannah and Stephanie and everybody looked lovely. Thank you for your kind comments. Where was I? Lying, Joe. Okay. Biden has said we got Osama. You remember in 2012 when they went in and got Osama bin Laden. In the years after that, he's told this story.
And he said, I have to make the decision.
By the way, he says he's referring to then President Barack Obama, and he's relaying the story. They're all sitting around, in the war room. The famous war room, they're all sitting around talking. Should we get Osama? Should we get Osama?
And he said, I have to make the decision. What is your opinion? He started with the National Security Advisor, the Secretary of State, and he ended with me. I said, we owe the man a direct answer. Mr. President, my suggestion is don't go.
That was Joe Biden. He said, and remember, hell, I think even independents and conservatives were praising the administration of Barack Obama after they went in and got Osama bin Laden. Joe Biden saying, I was totally against it. But again, his relationship with the truth, and that is it.
It's time for the Doment of the Day with Branden Rathert on 93.9 The Eagle.
Your Doment of the Day, dumb people in the news doing dumb things, or sometimes just some interesting stories. We go to Pennsylvania. Lackawanna, Pennsylvania. Somebody sees some smoke. They freak out. If you see something, say something. So they saw something, so they said something, and they tell the teacher and the whole school. They sound the alarm bells. Everybody goes running out of the school. The culprit caused a big delay in the middle of the school day for kids. It was a smoking cell phone charger battery. That was in the charger of the cell phone. That is your Doment of the Day.
Still hoping to find survivors trapped alive in tornado rubble. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That includes what was a candle factory in Mayfield, Kentucky.
We have to understand the reality and the gravity of the situation, though, that, 2 nights below freezing. And so while we understand that, we're still hopeful and prayerful that good results can still come.
Troy Probst is the company's CEO.
This tornado in this town of Mayfield cut right through the business center, and that means all of your pharmacies, your banks, your post office, a lot of the stuff that people need to sustain life here was what got completely damaged, including also 3 of the big churches here.
Fox's Rick Reichmuth. Many other communities were also badly damaged in Kentucky and lost power and/or water service. The governor initially feared 100 deaths, then said maybe half that. There's also at least 14 deaths and also destruction in several other states. Fox's Evan Brown has more on that live.
Yeah, Dave, a tornado cut through Arkansas and not out in the middle of nowhere.
Picked cities along the path. Many times they're more rural areas. Here we hit multiple towns.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson on CBS's Face the Nation. Lives needed saving in the town of Truman outside Jonesboro, where a family was trapped in a collapsed house. Revis Kemp is the fire chief.
A father and his daughter, and they were critical. And the paramedics on our side, the firefighter paramedic was able to crawl into the debris pile and start some ALS care.
And tornadoes also struck in Missouri, Tennessee, and Illinois, Dave.
Evan, it's stormy out in California. Some areas could get drenching rain, leading to flooding. In the northern mountainous areas, they could get feet of snow. Britain has its first death blamed on the Omicron COVID variant.
It's spreading at a phenomenal rate, something that we've never seen before. It's doubling every 2 to 3 days in infections.
That's UK Health Minister Sajid Javid. At least 30 states now have Omicron in the U.S. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
More than 1 in 3 people will face cancer in their lifetime. Unfortunately, fear can stop you from getting cancer screening, but it won't stop cancer. Early detection can save your life. Don't wait for symptoms to appear to act. Cancer screening is safe, effective, and accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to CancerScreenQuiz.com now and take the American Cancer Society's 2-minute cancer screening quiz to find out what screening tests are right for you. Don't wait. Take the quiz. Get screened. Go to CancerScreenQuiz.com now. CancerScreenQuiz.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 7:03, 35 right now in Columbia, 33 degrees in Jefferson City. Going to be a beautiful day for the middle of December. Sunshine with a high of 60. Clear skies tonight, low near 43. Our sun will rise at 7:18 this morning. Here in 15 minutes, it will set at 4:47. This afternoon. Good morning, everyone. 48 crew members from Columbia-based Missouri Task Force 1 are on the highway this morning. They are heading to tornado-damaged Kentucky.
Mid-Missouri-based Task Force 1 is activated to be deployed to Kentucky in response to the devastating tornadoes that hit that state. The task force will be headed to Murray State University to stage and await their mission assignment. They are due to arrive in Kentucky this morning. John Marsh, 93.9 The Eagle.
All right, John, thanks. Task Force 1 is bringing 35 personnel, 10 ground support personnel, and also 3 members who will serve on the FEMA incident support team. Coming up after this newscast, we'll have a live interview with Gail Blomenkamp, who is with the Boone County Fire Protection District and Task Force 1. Despite several tornado warnings in mid-Missouri on Friday evening, there are no reports of deaths in our listening area. The National Weather Service did issue tornado warnings for Cole, Callaway, Andre, Montgomery, and Osage counties. Governor Parsons says at least 4 people were killed statewide during the Friday night tornadoes. That included 3 people in far southeast Missouri's Pemiscot County. The storm there in the Caruthersville area, same storm that came across the river into Kentucky. The governor says the storms killed a semi-driver on I-55, another a motorist on Highway 84. Here in Columbia, the school board has been reviewing the recent letter from Missouri's Attorney General about mask requirements and a Cole County judge's November November ruling. The board will vote tonight on whether or not to extend the district's indoor mask requirement. CPS students and staff have been required to wear masks indoors since August. Attorney General Eric Schmidt has demanded that CPS and other districts rescind their mask mandates. He says they are null and void under Judge Green's order and ruling from November. CPS's Michelle Baumstark tells 93.9 The Eagle the board is reviewing Schmidt's letter and Judge Green's ruling. You could be voting in April on an $80 million bond issue for Columbia Public Schools. Columbia School Board will hear a report about the no tax increase bond issue coming up tonight. CPS spokesperson Michelle Baumstark tells The Eagle the board will be voting on the issue in January. The board packet says the money from the bond issue would fund numerous projects. That includes a new elementary school in the district. Money would also be used to replace roofs, windows, heating, and air conditioning units, parking lots as well. Columbia police need your help in finding a suspect or suspects who fired 4 shots early Sunday morning near Trinity Place and Park. ABC 17's Ben Fine was on scene minutes after the gunfire happened.
Once I arrived at the scene, I saw multiple police officers searching the area with flashlights and speaking with people on the scene, which you can see on your screen now. Police were also able to confirm with me that no one was injured in the shooting and told me they do not have any suspect information at this time.
It's ABC 17's Ben Fine reporting from Trinity and Park. That's just west of North Providence. If you have any information about that incident, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers here in Columbia, 573-875-TIPS. And officials say the $9 million runway extension project at Columbia Regional Airport has been completed. The Federal Aviation Administration has funded the entire project. It extended COU's runway from 6,500 to 7,400 feet. New LED lighting has also been installed for the entire runway. COU officials say the crosswind runway was extended from 4,400 to 5,500 feet in 2017. Extension will allow larger planes to use the runway at COU and provide a longer distance for planes to land and take off during inclement weather. Emery Sapp & Sons, one of the many contractors working on that project, and again, it has been completed. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you this hour by the Candy Factory. They get you set up with a delicious chocolate gift to show your appreciation to your company, employees, or people who make your business world successful. This holiday season, stop by the Candy Factory, downtown Columbia. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:06. In sports, you've probably seen the video. The Las Vegas Raiders, before the game, got onto the emblem there at midfield.
Yeah, they were trying to troll us, man.
Not sure that was a good idea, but it didn't work out for them. 48-9, the Chiefs winning the game at Arrowhead Stadium yesterday.
Trolled, what was it, 49-8 or something silly?
48-9. 48-9. So yes, 48-9.
Trolled, unsuccessful.
Exactly. Chiefs now in first place in the AFC West. Big game yesterday at Arrowhead. Number 8 Kansas beating Mizzou on Saturday afternoon. Lawrence 102-65. KU has won 8 of the last 9 in that series. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:08. All right, Kevin, thanks. And our weather is brought to you this hour by Club Car Wash, clubcarwash.com. Find a location near you. 35 degrees.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check is with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. MidmoHires.com. Find a job, post your job opening today. Roads right now pretty quiet here in mid-Missouri. If you want to report a traffic issue, call or text us 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes, and we have breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
So this is what we believe will be the longest tornado in U.S. history on the ground consecutively, at least 227 miles, but 200 of those were in Kentucky. I've talked to the governors of neighboring states. We're all working to recover through this.
I talked to President Biden yesterday. He assured that they would cut through any red tape that was necessary. They want to help in the response. And so that helps build confidence. We've got to make the assessment and then determine exactly what those dollar figures are.
Shelter is a huge issue right now. There's areas without power, but what we see mostly, what I've seen as an emergency manager, is that many people will stay with friends and family.
5 states, including Missouri, extreme southeast Missouri, like even south of Cape Girardeau, tornadoes. In Kentucky, they're saying in the phrasing, the longest lived singular tornado, 230 plus miles. Right now, estimates on the number of people dead, I think anywhere between 50 and 100 overnight. The governor of Kentucky, Greg Beshear, was saying potentially 100 people dead. I think he's backing off that a little bit. But some of the language they're using to describe this burst of tornadoes through the Midwest, some of the most devastating tornadoes people have seen is what we're hearing.
No doubt about that, Branden, and you're absolutely right. And the storm that kind of started in northeast Arkansas, and of course Arkansas is so close to the boot heel, it cut into the Hayti area, Caruthersville, then over to Kentucky. So 2 very quick things. They're saying either the longest lived tornado system. I've also seen the National Weather Service in Memphis, which I follow because they cover the 2 counties in southeast Missouri, the 2 counties. They called it the longest lived mesocyclone ever. And then in terms of fatalities, I've been checking the Louisville newspaper, the Courier Journal. They're reporting at least 50 dead, more than 1,000 properties destroyed.
And some of the folks that are there helping already from right here in mid-Missouri, Gail Blomenkamp. We know every time Task Force 1 goes out, we know the stuff is real, and these folks over the years have just done incredible work. Gail Blomenkamp is with the Boone County Fire District. Gail, welcome into the show. I got to tell you, we've been hanging out for several years. I was watching ABC 17 this morning, and I guess you guys let Layla Mitchell go and watch you guys kind of depart last night. That is a monstrous undertaking, the things you pack and what your crew takes.
Yeah, we got alerted yesterday about 4 o'clock to go to Kentucky. And it takes a lot of work to get everything loaded up and ready to go. And, a lot of our things are already packed, and they stay packed. But, there's always things that we have to put on the trucks, and that's what Layla was able to see yesterday. And you're right. We got once we get alerted, we have 4 hours to be on the road. So it's quite an undertaking and takes a lot of people's effort.
And then when you guys get there, and this is the other thing, I envision, and I'm reminded of this following the Joplin tornado. You go and help, and everybody shows up, and it's not like somebody's just handing out garden gloves and a plastic trash bag, go here, pick up trash. Besides the depth of the work, you get there, you got to find somebody who's in charge because there's a bunch of different cooks in that kitchen.
Yeah, so, we work for the locals, and so once the local assets are exceeded, they reach out to their state agency, and once the state has exceeded their capabilities, they reach out to FEMA, and that's where we come in. And in fact, we were put on alert Friday night after the tornadoes for a potential response to Edwardsville for the Amazon collapse. We were then released on Saturday morning, and then got activated yesterday afternoon again to go to Kentucky.
All right, Gail Blomenkamp, Boone County Fire Protection District. He is joining us here on the show. We've got almost 50 of our fellow Mid-Missourians. Task Force 1 headed to Kentucky.
Gail, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. I've got 2 questions about what's happening right now. Number one, looking back historically, and you and I have talked over the years, I've talked to you many times after 9/11. I remember that with the terror attack. I remember many, obviously, terrible hurricanes down on the Gulf Coast or in Florida. And I remember ice storms. I don't remember recently, at least, maybe I'm missing it, forgetting it, tornadoes that you guys have responded to. Am I wrong?
No, so the last tornado that we responded to as a task force was Jefferson City. But then we were obviously in Joplin, Missouri, when that tornado struck that city. And this is, we have people on this deployment that were actually in Joplin, and it was described to them as very similar as far as destruction, only on a more grander scale. This tornado was massive in size, and Mayfield, Kentucky is a very small town, and our guys are there in Murray State right now, Murray State University. They got there about 3 o'clock this morning, and whatever the need may be, our guys will be ready to take that on.
Gail, one final question, and that is about the equipment. I'm glad to hear that they arrived safely. That's good to hear. And ahead of schedule, because they were expected by 8, and they got there at 3 o'clock this morning, so that is good news. In terms of the equipment, your crew members have 100,000 pounds of equipment with them in Kentucky, in the Murray area. What kind of equipment do they have, and what are some of the tasks the men and women will be doing with that equipment?
Yeah, so we have equipment for all types of situations or hazards. This being a collapsed area where we have down buildings and debris, we anticipate doing large area or wide area search and rescue type missions. We could be going into collapsed structures, doing shoring, breaching, breaking, seismic listening devices we have. And so if we can find a void spot, we'll be able to listen. And then we also have the canines that are there to search for live humans that may be trapped in some debris. So we have some tools that we can use, and it's not a lot different than what we take to the hurricanes that we respond to, with the exception of the water rescue capabilities that we take there, obviously. But this is the equipment that we carry for hazardous materials, because you just never know what you're going to get into. So we're prepared to do whatever the task may be that we're assigned. Gail
Blomenkamp, Boone County Fire Protection Assistant, hanging out with us this morning on 93.9 The Eagle. And by the way, I want to mention we get funding in different sources for this. State Representative Cherie Toulson Reich over the years, I think she's been one of those pretty instrumental in getting funding so that Mid-Missourians can go out and help our brothers and sisters nationwide. Anything else, Mr. Blomenkamp, you need to add this morning before we let you go?
These men and women that deployed to yesterday, they come from all across the state of Missouri, and without the support of their local employers, allowing them the opportunity to deploy, and then their family support at home, allowing their loved ones to be gone for, it could be a couple weeks. Yeah. Without that support, this would not be possible for anybody in Missouri to do, let alone the task force. So we appreciate everybody's employers. We appreciate everybody's families, and we will take care of these men and women and get them home safe.
And let's pull for these folks. I know what that's like. My mom was in the Air Force stationed at Beale Air Force Base, California, and every year, and usually right before Christmas, she would do either 30, 60, or 90-day TDY stint in Seoul, South Korea, to go and work on the SR-71s, and it was hard seeing your family. Even though you knew they were coming back, you missed your family, especially during the holidays. Anything that we can do here to be of service to folks here in mid-Missouri, you got our number, Gail, okay?
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Gail.
Thank you. This happened in the NFL yesterday.
Herbert stops, launches deep. Jalen Guyton, he's got it! Touchdown, Chargers! What a throw!
So what? Another touchdown pass from somebody that the Kansas City Chiefs ain't even playing. They are in our division, however. Justin Herbert, quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, threw a touchdown pass. The touchdown, I think it was officially a 54-yard touchdown pass or something like that. He threw the ball 63.8 yards.
Wow.
And I don't know how to make that digestible for somebody that doesn't get the Ram. And I guess it's like the second longest this season, one of the top of all time. Threw a ball almost 64 yards.
That's amazing. By the way, great call there. I was impressed with the call from the broadcaster, the description on there. You and I talked off air, and he is someone that probably a lot of people maybe didn't recognize that name coming out of college unless they follow it closely. I happened to bring him up because he was, obviously the Oregon Duck, so I was familiar with him. But he didn't get the national attention of, let's say, Alabama or, Clemson or Oklahoma, stuff like that. He played at Oregon. He did helped them win the Pac-12 championship back in 2019, and was the MVP of the Rose Bowl. He's 6'6".
6'6", tall guy, and I love his story. I had never heard of the guy, and I think until it was the first time the Chiefs may have played them, 3 years ago, I'd never heard of the guy. Oh, okay, he's good. But he's one of those. It's interesting. Contrast Justin Herbert, who I think a lot of folks didn't hear about, arguably top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And right now, you take Patrick Mahomes out of the top 5 equation. Sorry. But I think you take him out of the top 5 if you're basing it on recent play. But he's done so well, Justin Herbert. And then there's people like Trevor Lawrence. And we've seen that story way too many times. Hyped out of college, and they just can't play pro ball.
It's hard, and I've been accurate at times and wrong about how some of you just don't know, because a lot of it has to do with they got to find the right fit, they got to find the right system and stuff. The example I would give of someone that I really thought would do really well was Johnny Manziel. I mean, he at Texas A&M to go into Tuscaloosa as he did in 2012 against all those players he played against were in the league. Some are still there. A lot of them gone now. That's 2012. But what he did to win down there, and of course he was arrogant, no question about that. But that said, he had all the talent in the world, and he had off-field problems too. But man, it's a perfect example. And then others that, like you said, Lawrence still has some time though.
Yeah, he's got time, and Urban. That thing has turned out to be a mess with Urban Meyer.
Oh.
By the way, the Chiefs' 48-9 victory over the Raiders. Remember just a couple of months ago, they were a game under 500. They're atop the AFC West. And I didn't get a chance to mention this on Friday, but we know the name because of the matchups that the Chiefs had over the years with the wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. He died, and I don't know if they've determined a cause yet, found dead in his place in Georgia, I think, on Thursday. As a matter of fact, this was so cool. Prior to the Broncos game, I think Minnesota was in Denver, and prior to the game, there is like a moment of silence. Denver takes the field with only 10 players intentionally. There is a delay of game called on the Denver Broncos while the crowd, remembers Demaryius Thomas, and the Vikings declined the penalty. The Vikings, they said, no thanks.
I've never seen that happen before, and I didn't. To be clear, I didn't see it. Certainly read about it. I need to go back and look at the video, but I certainly have never heard of that happen before. My understanding is he had some health issues.
Coming up, by the way, it was a record-setting victory for the Chiefs yesterday.
We're going to see how prepared everyone is for Christmas, because that's less than 2 weeks away.
Opinions on social issues. We throw those around too. Wake Up Columbia. 93.9 The Eagle.
After 18 years, I have decided to leave Fox. I want to try something new, to go beyond politics to all the things I'm interested in.
Chris Wallace leaving Fox News. Not too many people been at Fox longer than he has, 18 years, but now he will be the new kid on the block at CNN Plus. Streaming feature they have. Welcome into Wake Up Columbia at 7:25-ish, which means it's
7:28.
Time for What's Hot with Hannah.
There is a poll posted on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page regarding Christmas shopping and how close to being finished with Christmas shopping that you are. Now, Branden, before I even ask, I think I know the answer.
Yeah, what do you got for me?
Have you even started yet?
Better question, am I buying any Christmas gifts this year?
Are you not? Really?
No, cash, man.
Even for, like, your little grandkids?
Cash. They understand cash. Harper's only 4, but she recognizes Benjamin Franklin.
You can buy a lot of Twinkies with that, right?
You can buy a lot of Twinkies with a Benjamin, man.
No, so there's 4 people that have reacted to this post that have not even started yet. And that stresses me out.
Let me ask something. I haven't seen it. I don't get an opportunity to get onto the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page a lot. If you get on there, give us a like. You can watch the show on there, or even better, get onto YouTube. Pull up YouTube on your smart TV there in the house. Go to YouTube, search 93 point. Got to put in that period, 93.9 The Eagle Live. And you can watch it that way. Everybody running through the house in the morning, getting ready, can hear the news, hear what's going on. 4 people saying they have not started. Is the majority dudes?
No, actually.
Really?
3 out of the 4 are women.
No kidding. Stereotyping does not always work.
No.
Rathert.
I would say I'm almost done. Luckily, I didn't have to buy a whole lot this year, but I'm not just, giving everybody cash because that's lame.
Everybody 4 years old recognizes Benjamin. I could be reading her a history book, and I'll turn the page. Oh, $100. No, he was instrumental kind of to the whatever, Harper. Coming up, Fox News is here assessing tornado damage from 5 states, including Missouri. There is a death from Omicron now. And then Brian Hauswirth is here. Mid-Missouri, and the efforts from Mid-Missouri to go and help folks recovering from the tornadoes this morning. Brian has that 7:31. And then this idea, I'm waiting to select a city administrator for the city of Columbia. Should we wait until after the mayoral election? We'll talk about that some more. I have your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast. Sunshine, 60 today, 66 tomorrow. Right now, it's 34. Weather's brought to you by Club Car Wash. Get an unlimited membership, $20 a month. ClubCarWash.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. There's still a search for survivors in parts of Kentucky torn apart by a tornado Saturday. Governor Andy Beshear says he believes the death toll will be over 100.
We know that one of these tornadoes was on the ground over 227 miles, and Jake, 200 were in Kentucky. I've got towns that are gone, that are just, gone.
A lot of people in those towns need basic supplies and a place to stay. President Biden has signed off on federal disaster aid.
These disaster declarations free up money and resources to help cover first responder costs, provide emergency shelter, food and medical care, and to start paying out for uninsured losses to homeowners and business operators.
Fox's Evan Brown. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says at least 1 death from the Omicron coronavirus variant is confirmed there. No deaths are confirmed in the U.S. That new variant, though, has been detected in at least 30 states. America's listening to Fox News.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. Right now, it is 7:31. It is a beautiful morning here in mid-Missouri, albeit on the chilly side right now. 35 here in Columbia. Gorgeous sunrise. Our high today about 60 degrees. Our sun will set at 4:47 p.m. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. We just had a live interview moments ago Show with Gail Blomenkamp of the Boone County Fire Protection District, and he confirms that 48 members of Missouri Task Force 1 have arrived in tornado-damaged Kentucky. They're at Murray State right now. Murray's not far from Sykeston and Charleston across the Mississippi River into the state of Kentucky. Dozens of people there were killed in the storms. Kentucky's governor is calling it the worst tornado event in their state's history. The Louisville Courier-Journal is reporting this morning at least 50 are dead, more than 1,000 properties are destroyed. Gail Blomenkamp pointing out that they have responded to tornadoes before. He notes they were at the Jefferson City tornado back in 2019, also the Joplin tornado back in 2011. Governor Parsons says at least 4 people have been killed in the Show Me State from Friday night's devastating tornadoes. The governor was in Defiance in Pemiscot County on Sunday. He says the National Weather Service issued 31 tornado warnings in Missouri on Friday evening. Columbia School Board will be voting tonight on whether or not to extend the indoor mask requirement. Board meets at 6:30. The mask issue is an action item on the agenda. Columbia School Board's Finance Committee has voted to recommend placing an $80 million bond issue on the April ballot. The board will hear a report about that issue at tonight's meeting. Michelle Baumstark, the spokesperson at CPS, tells 93.9 The Eagle the proposed bond issue would fund numerous projects, including a new elementary school, career center improvements as well. And the Commerce Bank 1-for-1 food drive, sponsored by Zimmer Radio Group, is Wednesday, 6 to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Columbia Mall. You'll hear live reports all day during the 12 hours of the event on 93.9 The Eagle. Food Bank of Central and Northeast Missouri President Lindsay Young Lopez tells the Eagle her 64 staff members are service-oriented.
The staff here is truly the most amazing team I have ever had the pleasure of working with. And as we onboard new people, as we recruit people to this work, we are looking for people for whom that mission resonates and is important.
The 1-for-1 food drive raises money. It also collects food to help our neighbors in need across 32 counties. The food bank says canned meat and canned fruits and vegetables are especially needed. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you on this Monday morning by Dr. Kent Willett Dental Associates. Make an appointment now, 573-445-5300, WillettDentalAssociates.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:33. In sports, number 8 Kansas beating Mizzou Saturday afternoon in Lawrence, 102-65 in the Hy-Vee Hoops Border Showdown. Mizzou now 5-5 on the year. The only piece of good news, the Arkansas-Oklahoma game ran extended time on Saturday, so that game was late on TV. Mizzou struggling in the game. Some positives, Mizzou, though, 5-5 on the year. Mizzou women 9-2, an impressive win yesterday over Alabama A&M. That game at Mizzou Arena here in Columbia. And the Chiefs, very impressive on Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium, 9-4 right now, first place in the AFC West. They beat Las Vegas 48-9. Our sports is brought to you this hour by Dr. Kent Willett Dental Associates, WillettDentalAssociates.com. Our news time, 7:35.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Visit MidmoHires.com to find a job, post a job opening today. Roads have been pretty quiet here in mid-Missouri. If you want to report a traffic issue, give us a call or a text anytime. And we, of course, have breaking news immediately. Our next update at 8:03. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
I think they're looking at outsiders because they're not politicians. They're not just going to tell you things and go to Washington and not do it. And that's what I told people. I'm not a politician. Don't talk like one. Don't look like one, and don't act like one, because I care about the people.
That's Herschel Walker, NFL player running for Senate in Georgia. Was tough for the Dallas Cowboys, and then went on, I think, played for the Minnesota Vikings, something like that, campaigning before.
Came here to Columbia back in 1999 about his battle. He spoke at the Hearn Center. Wow, he had, as I recall, it was a speech impediment. He talked about growing up being picked on, and I want to say Fellowship of Christian Athletes, but what a great career in the NFL.
What a neat story is Herschel Walker running for office in Georgia. Welcome into the show. This is Wake Up Columbia. Stephanie Bell has the day off. There's Mr. Brian Hauswirth. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I was busy taking care of Mom, and it was great to see you, by the way, Friday night at our Christmas party. We had a good event and got a lot done, though. But it's good to be back to work, but also got a little bit of rest too, which is important.
Good for you, man. You deserve it as much as you've been working those trials and everything else that you do anyway. You got to take a nap, man.
Yeah,
you should see the nap I took this week.
No, you didn't take a nap. You hibernated.
Wow. Like I was even we should take bets. Remember my bet used to be on Sundays before I quit drinking? Let's take a bet. See who gets in the fewest steps on a Sunday. Because I wasn't doing nothing except for walking up to the refrigerator in the bathroom. And even the bathroom only once in a while would I actually get up. But I always want to have this contest. Let's see who got the least amount of steps on their Fitbit on a day. Now I want to do it for who got the most amount of sleep.
Only because you would also win. You only want to do contests that you know you're going to win. I've noticed this pattern over the years.
That's my dear, sweet Hannah. Hannah, the producer, is here. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. Of course, as mentioned, we had our company Christmas party Friday night and stayed overnight at the casino in Boonville.
It was a good time.
Yeah, kind of laid low the rest of the weekend.
Is it wrong? And we have phenomenal people that work for the Zimmer Radio Group. We have a phenomenal 99 people. We used to have 187 people that worked here, but a couple of months ago, they fired like 88 people. And we have 99. And I've asked them.
No, that's not true.
They said we'll have 99 forever because we ain't falling under no stinking mandates.
Don't be spreading fake news about our employer, man. Come on.
Zimmer is an incredible group of folks to work with. I wondered this, though, and I have a dark sense of humor sometimes, but I wonder if anybody else has ever thought they should go to the company Christmas party. And it seems every year, drive by, like if they have it at a hall or at the Holiday Inn Executive Center or the fairgrounds or something, you drive by the next day and see whose car is still there. And two things come to mind. You go, I know who had a good time last night. And you also say, I know who was acting responsibly last night, potentially. But I get bummed, like, short of somebody being tackled inside the ballroom. Did you see that?
I don't think he was tackled. Was he?
I must not have seen this.
That's good. It was ugly.
I saw the resulting limp.
Yeah, and I saw not medical staff, but the guy being attended to. But I'm one of those, like, if nothing bad happens at the Christmas, because I want a story, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to lose their job. But somebody dancing on the table or something, yeah, live it up a little bit. But nothing like that happened at our Christmas party.
You were a really big fan of the food.
I agree with that. That was awesome.
Prime ribs. So my first trip through, I'm like, hey, my grandma.
So I was behind you.
And this is a true story.
Yes, I was behind you in line, and it's one of those tables where they have a line down each side of the table. You caused the biggest traffic jam because you're standing there next to the lady who's trying to do her job, and you just kept asking for more, and she finally was like, dude, get out of here. Like, you see all these people, you're causing a mob.
What about my grandmother who was there at the company Christmas party with us? She can't come get food right now. She's up at the bar getting shots of tequila. Can I just get
So then a few minutes later at the table, you disappear, and you come back with more. I don't know how you sweet-talked the lady that was serving into giving you more after all that, but it was impressive.
Why can't I chat that way with people? No problem, But if it's like for dating reasons, I can't do it. Won't do it at all. But I sweet-talked that woman out of some prime rib, baby.
You did. And it was delicious.
I got skills, Hauswirth. Hang out with me Stephanie's husband, by the way, before we move forward, somebody has posed a very interesting question regarding tonight's Columbia Public School Board meeting.
Okay.
Wow. I'm like, points for Nathan for asking this question. And also, I've put out a question to 5 different people this morning, and I've got the responses. I want to share that. Wake Up Columbia. Hannah, the producer, Brian Hauswirth. Stephanie has the day off on Branden Rathert. I'm in the Isle of Capri Casino playing slots. And I played $20. I played for an hour on $20.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm not trying to win. I'm just, killing time, and I'm people watching. Who was it I was talking to? Their first date was at a Walmart.
Wow.
Oh, it was Hannah. Which is awesome, by the way. I don't even think that's awesome.
Yeah, so
her first date with her guy she's probably going to end up marrying, their first date was at
basically a Walmart. Wow. We wanted to meet up somewhere where we could actually talk. And of course, you want it to be a public place when you meet a stranger off the internet. So we just we walked around the Capitol Mall in Jeff City, and then we walked around Walmart before we went and got dinner.
And they hung out at Walmart, which I think is great. Walmart is a great place to people watch. Walmart, county fairs, better than the state fair, by the way, as far as people watching. Airports and Walmart's, all great places to people watch. And casinos in there. I'm sitting there playing casinos. Stephanie Bell and her husband, very handsome dude, by the way, man. He's got it all. He's got a family and everything.
I would just like to point out I am the youngest member of the Wake Up Columbia crew. I didn't go to the casino.
Even Hauswirth dropped some coin there.
Little penny slots.
Of course.
Yeah.
By the time you guys were texting me saying that, you were winning money, I was already in bed.
No kidding.
No kidding.
I got to tell you, do I have time to sidetrack for a quick story in penny slots? All right, just remind me where I was.
You were saying that Stephanie's husband is good looking.
Thanks, Hauswirth.
Yeah, that is where he was at.
Yeah,
that is
true.
correct.
Where I was. Here's the ghost.
Rather's got a new man crush.
All right, let's just call it good there and move on to the next thing.
Your face is red, man.
Oh, so here's the question. I've asked 5 people this morning. One of them's already been on this morning, Randy Minchew, running for mayor of Columbia. So we're at a weird crossroads. We're hiring a new city manager. John Glasscock is leaving, and it's going to happen probably before our spring elections. So I've reached out to all the Columbia mayoral candidates and asked them, do you think that is proper, or do we need to wait? I'm going to share some of those responses coming up at 8:10. Penny slots. Here's what I'm in a place called Jackpot, Nevada. It's northern Nevada. There's nothing there except some foothills and casinos. It's in the desert. Like, you drive for an hour from any direction. There's nothing, and there's nothing. And then all of a sudden you come over this little butte, and whoa! There's Jackpot, Nevada. Like 300 people live there. About 3,000 work in Jackpot, Nevada. It's the only thing around. There's high-rise casinos in this little town in northern Nevada. Anyhow, walked there one night, and I'm with my best friend. His name is Tom Nelson. Tom Nelson and I used to have some fun together, man. We tore it up. We're walking in to go check into rooms and everything, and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And here's some women. They got, the big beehive hairdos and the glasses with the chains that hang on them, and they're smoking those, what are those really long cigarettes, like the Virginia Slims?
What year was this?
This was 2003. Okay. Maybe 2004, and they're smoking those long cigarettes, and they're playing penny slots, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I remarked to my friend Tom, because, I'm morally superior to these women, so it's my job. It's my job to pass judgment on them. So I said to my friend Tom, man, how sad is that? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, smoking cigarettes, and you're playing penny slots in Jackpot, Nevada. Well, by the end of that whole day / next morning, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Rathert has had enough to drink that he feels like, you know how some people get, because I used to smoke and then I quit. But when I would drink, I would want to have a cigarette. So here I am, 3 o'clock in the morning, at a casino in Jackpot, Nevada, smoking cigarettes, nursing my one last drink, playing the penny slots because I had done run out of money for that day. All right. Where was I?
You had a question from a listener about the CPS board meeting today.
Oh, check this out. Board meeting time. This is an important board meeting, too.
Yes, it is.
6:30 it starts. That's when they get together. Because, by the way, and I would tell you, if you are going to this meeting, please get there early. I've heard, I can't confirm because a lot of folks in the school district don't always talk to me, but if they can make it can be difficult to speak at these meetings.
Yeah, the agenda items, and there are a number, some of which there's so much on the agenda, I couldn't get everything into the newscast. But really, if I had to pick the two biggest ones in order, the first one would be the mask issue, which is whether or not to extend the indoor mask requirement. That is an action item, so they will vote one way or the other tonight, either to extend it or not. That they are in receipt of Eric Schmidt's letter. They're in receipt of Judge Green's ruling. And the other thing that's extremely important is there is a report tonight, Brandon, not a vote, a report on a proposed $80 million bond issue on the April ballot that would include a new elementary school.
And Nathan texts, so the school board wants the public to vote on a bond issue. Huh. How should we vote on that? I love the question. 874-9390 coming up at 7:53. We're going to highlight this big event that's happening this week. We would love for you to be a part of. Details on how you can get involved. Jetting, they continue to grow. We've been talking about a couple of job openings they've had there. They've hired one. They've got a road tech, but now they're looking for probably somebody like you, somebody who wants a job, somebody who's pretty decent at a lot of different things. You need this done? Okay, I can do that. That's kind of the person they are looking to pay money to. You go to Pro Pumping and Hydrojetting and do some stuff for them, and then they're going to put some money into your bank account. Pretty cool. And listen, just about any workplace puts money into your bank account, right? But it's those things that can't be put into a bank account that makes the difference when it comes to finding somebody that you want to work for. Stuff you can't put in the bank, like flexibility on the job, maybe some understanding once in a while. Can I bring my dog today? Cool. Hey, I got to leave the kids. Whatever. And that's what it's like when you're working at Pro Pumping and Hydrojetting. So if you're good with a bunch of office stuff, you should check them out. Start with the website for Pro Pumping and Hydrojetting. It's pro-pumping.com.
The talk show for awesome folks like you. Wake Up Columbia, 93.9 The Eagle.
You're about to seat a new government. There's two new city council, or at least two positions. One may be the incumbent, and you're definitely going to have a new mayor.
All right, that is Randy Minchew, local businessman, also running for mayor of Columbia. He's come out with a press release. This whole story is interesting. We've seen this happen before. Merrick Garland, when Obama was going out of office, let's put in Merrick Garland. Lawmakers said, no, let's wait until after the presidential election. It's not legal. It's not illegal. Can be a brilliant political move. And now we are seeing something like that happen right here in mid-Missouri. Randy Minchew's running for mayor saying, hey, wait a minute, we're in the midst of hiring a new city manager. Maybe we should wait until after the mayoral election. Okay. And the other thing, by the way, there's a couple of city council seats up for grabs, and that's, 5 months away, 4 or 5 months away. That's happening in April. So he was on the show this morning. I would highly encourage you to go to the Wake Up Columbia podcast, Wake Up Columbia On Demand, anytime, all the time, 939theeagle.com. Go to Wake Up Columbia On Demand. And he lays out his reasonings, Minchew does, for why we should wait. Let's get everybody in place. City manager, it's a pretty important position. So we have reached out to David Seaman, currently on the school board. He's getting ready for that big meeting tonight, Columbia Public School District. If you plan on going to that meeting, get there early. Apparently, I don't know if I'm being accurate to say they're making it tough for people to talk. They have rules in place. Please get to that meeting early tonight. David Seaman, he is there. He's currently on the board, also running for mayor. I reached out to him to get his opinion. Got it. Mayoral candidate Barbara Buffalo, who, by the way, has a great sense of humor. And I dig her because we don't agree on politics, but she's cool with it. I said, hey, can you come on at 8:10 to talk about this? And she said, sure. And so I responded, THA.JS, which is
oh my gosh, you're so embarrassing.
To a mayoral candidate.
You're so embarrassing.
I know. And right away, I'm like, crap, I just said THA.JS.
No, let's be honest. Did you notice right away?
I noticed it after I got it all wrong. You're supposed to type, read, send. I type, send. Then I go back and read what I sent. Barbara Buffalo's response, THA.JS. I like that. And then also one of the other mayoral candidates, let's see, Tanya Heath, she's going to be here at 8:10. Barbara Buffalo is going to be joining us real quick at 8:10. We want to get their opinions on this here on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com. Coming up this Wednesday, we're so excited. It's like, we talk about January 1st. There's a calendar, and this is the new year, this is the old year. For me, like the year, it's based around our 1-for-1 holiday food drive with Commerce Bank. We are doing that this Wednesday. We are so excited. We're just trying to help some folks that need some help here during the holidays. And that's what the food pantry does. It's helping folks. They lose a job. Oh, my goodness. I got to make a car payment this month, and the kids would like to eat this week. What do I do? And it's people like they go to the food bank. It's kind of like emergency food service. It's just one of the things they do. So coming up Wednesday at the mall, we are going to be there 6 in the morning till 6 at night with the Commerce Bank 1-for-1 holiday food drive. You can donate online, a whole bunch of different things you can do. And I would encourage you to get onto our website, 939theeagle.com, and you'll be able to get details on how you can help. The easiest, because really we call it a food drive. Things change, things evolve, we reimagine things, and a lot of those things, some of those things are for the better. And one of the things we've learned in the years of doing this with the food bank is that ultimately it's beneficial. And I love the food drive. Been part of great food drives over the years. You have the mountain of food at some public parking lot, and everybody shows up, and it's cool because that is a tangible result of what we've done as a town, as a community. We started learning it's actually cash donations are better because the food bank can take that money, and with $1 they can buy some silly amounts of food. So it's a little bit different, but the cause more important, and we're helping neighbors right here in mid-Missouri. So coming up, Fox News, they are reporting there is a death from Omicron. It's not in the United States. Everything I have seen regarding Omicron seems to be a lot of doctors, even though we're not hearing it a lot because it doesn't scare us. Doctors going, it's a new variant. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot to it. Anecdotal evidence that I'm hearing. Brian Hauswirth is here. The Mid-Missouri effort to help with tornado cleanup. Brian Hauswirth has that story coming up at 8:03.
There's a lot of devastation and sorrow. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I know I've lost some neighbors and it hurts somewhere, and they're still trying to find people.
He's in Dawson Springs, Kentucky, where Police Chief Mike Opalek says there has also been some post-tornado looting.
Trash that are breaking into people's houses and stealing their belongings after they just lost everything.
Many communities were hit hard by tornadoes. One tore a 200-mile path. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble's in Mayfield, Kentucky.
As you look around here this morning, the infrastructure that a town needs is gone. I mean, the houses are gone, the private businesses are gone, the banks are gone, courthouse.
Kentucky's governor fears 50 people could have been killed. At least 14 others are dead in 4 other states, with a lot of destruction also in Arkansas and Missouri and Tennessee and Illinois, where 6 died in an Amazon warehouse that took a direct tornado hit. In Texas, a candlelight vigil honoring someone who died turns deadly. Fox's Jeff Manasso on the case live.
Dave, the Harris County Sheriff's Office says it's searching for a gunman who drove by that candlelight vigil in Baytown, Texas Sunday night and began firing at least 20 shots on the crowd, hitting 14.
Of those, one was pronounced deceased at an area hospital. Another one has been taken by Lifelight in critical condition.
Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, investigators also say the vehicle used in the deadly drive-by is believed to have been found abandoned overnight and Dave.
Jeff, the Omicron COVID variant has now spread to 30 U.S. states and Washington, D.C., with a new mask mandate in effect today in New York State, while cases spike in Britain.
Omicron is producing hospitalizations, and sadly, at least one patient has now been confirmed to have died with Omicron.
That's Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He also says by tomorrow, Omicron will likely be responsible for half the new COVID cases in London. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
More than 1 in 3 people will face cancer in their lifetime. Unfortunately, fear can stop you from getting your cancer screening, but it won't stop cancer. Early detection can save your life. Don't wait for symptoms to appear to act. Cancer screening is safe, effective, and accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com right now for free screening resources and recommendations from the American Cancer Society. Don't wait. Early detection can save your life. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com today. cancerscreeninfo.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 8:03, 36 right now. In Columbia, it's 35 degrees. In Jefferson City, going to be sunny. Today's high around 60. Clear skies tonight with a low near 43 degrees. Good morning, everyone. We'll begin this hour with a quick traffic note. Branden has received several texts and calls from listeners saying that westbound I-70 is backed up right now at the Pershey Creek. That is just west of Columbia. Westbound I-70 backed up at the Pershey Creek. Callers, listeners saying there's a semi on the shoulder right now. No other details available. And if you have any other information on that, certainly pass it along to you. If you have other information about that incident, whatever is happening out there about that tractor trailer, certainly let us know. Meantime, Task Force 1 has 35 personnel, 10 ground support personnel, and 3 members who will serve on FEMA's incident support team. They have arrived. They're on the ground as we speak in Murray, Kentucky. Gail Blumenkamp of the Boone County Fire Protection District telling 93.9 The Eagle last hour during a live interview that crew members arrived about 3 o'clock this morning in Murray, which is not far from Sykeston in Charleston, Missouri. They have more than 100,000 pounds of equipment with them. Chief Blumenkamp notes the last time that they responded to a tornado was the Jefferson City tornado that happened in 2019. They also responded to the Joplin tornado back in 2011 in southwest Missouri's Joplin. Despite several tornado warnings in mid-Missouri Friday evening, there are no reports of deaths in our listening area. National Weather Service issued tornado warnings in Cole, Callaway, Audrain, Montgomery, and Osage counties. Governor Mike Parson says at least 4 people were killed statewide on Friday, 3 in Pemiscot County in the Caruthersville area, including a semi-driver on I-55, a motorist on Highway 84. The National Weather Service in Memphis describes the storm system that began in Arkansas and went through the Boot Heel into Kentucky as the longest-lived mesocyclone ever. Governor Parson has spoken to President Biden about federal resources. They talked over the weekend about communities impacted by the deadly tornadoes. Columbia School Board has been reviewing a recent letter from Missouri's Attorney General about mask requirements and a Cole County judge's November ruling. Board will vote tonight on whether or not to extend the district's indoor mask requirement. Much more detailed story here, 939theeagle.com. You also could be voting on an $80 million bond issue for CPS in April. The school board will hear a report about the issue tonight. A vote expected in January, according to Michelle Baumstark, the CPS spokesperson. Board's packet says money from the bond issue would fund numerous projects, including a new elementary school in the district. Money would also be used to replace roofs, windows, heating and air conditioning units, parking lots as well. Columbia police need your help in finding a suspect or suspects who fired 4 shots early Sunday morning. It happened at Trinity Place in Park.
Once I arrived at the scene, I saw multiple police officers searching the area with flashlights and speaking with people on the scene, which you can see on your screen now. Police were also able to confirm with me that no one was injured in the shooting and told me they do not have any suspect information at this time.
That is ABC 17's Ben Fine reporting from the scene at Trinity Place and Park. That is just to the west of North Providence Road. If you have any information, call Columbia Crime Stoppers, and that phone number is 5 573-875-TIPS. Officials say the $9 million runway extension project at COU has been completed. We have a picture of the runway extension along with the story, 939theeagle.com. And Wednesday is your opportunity to help feed hungry neighbors across central and northeast Missouri. It's the Commerce Bank 1-for-1 Food Drive, Columbia Mall, sponsored by Zimmer Radio Group. Proceeds go to the Food Bank for central and northeast Missouri. Food Bank President Lindsay Young Lopez tells 93.9 The Eagle it's been a challenging time for her staff members and volunteers.
In COVID-19 times as well, food bankers are considered essential workers, and this is hard work that we are all doing on an ongoing basis, especially our drivers and those in the warehouse, those at our central pantry.
In 93.9 The Eagle will have live reports from Columbia Mall Wednesday from 6 to 6. A $25 donation can provide at least 100 meals. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:07. Number 8 says we begin sports here at 8:07. Number 8, Kansas pounding Mizzou on Saturday afternoon in Lawrence, 102-65, the Hy-Vee Hoops Border Showdown. If you listen to Tom Hart on the ESPN broadcast, he pointed out a couple of the star players of Kansas are Missouri players. One right here in Columbia, DeJuan Harris. He had 13 points, 3 3-pointers. He was a player that led Rockridge to a state championship back in 2019. Very fine, great shooter there for KU. The other player that had a big game was from Oak Park. His name is Ochi Abaji. He was very impressive. He had 21 points to lead KU. KU has won 8 of the last 9 in the series. Mizzou women's basketball, they win yesterday against Alabama A&M. They are 9-2 on the year. Asia Blackwell, a 2020 game in that performance. Fine performance by Ms. Blackwell. Impressive again. Mizzou 9-2 on the year. The Chiefs are 9-4. They beat Las Vegas on Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium. Final there was 48-9. The Chiefs in first place right now in the AFC West. Our news time is 8:08. And our sports is brought to you by the Missouri Heart Center. Comprehensive cardiovascular care in the heart of Missouri. 8:08. All right, Kevin, thanks. Our weather is brought to you by Club Car Wash. ClubCarWash.com. Find a location near you. 36 degrees.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
Traffic check. MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Again, Brandon's received several texts and calls from listeners saying I-70 westbound at the Pershing Creek backed up. A semi is on the shoulder, so expect that if you're out and about. This morning, if you want to report a traffic issue, 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes, and we'll have breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
You're about to seat a new government. There's 2 new city council, or at least 2 positions. One may be the incumbent, and you're definitely going to have a new mayor. And because of the relationship between the city manager and the city council and the mayor, to me, it kind of makes sense.
All right, Randy Minchew's running for mayor of Columbia, spring of 2022, and he is contending that, hey, listen, we're also in the process of hiring a city manager. John Glasscock, who's been in that position for a couple of years, he's going to be leaving. So Randy Minchew's contention is, hey, we should wait until after we have these elections, because besides the mayoral election, you also have 2 contested city council seats. I think 3rd and 4th Ward, Ian Thomas not running for re-election, Carl Scala running for re-election, and there's folks in those races. So Randy's contention is we should wait because we could potentially have 3 new people in government. Merrick Garland kind of thing. Hey, there's There's nothing that says it's legal. There's nothing that says it's illegal. That's for sure. But wanted to find out what some of the other mayoral candidates thought regarding this issue. And the other thing that's really been interesting about that is the timeline on this story, because Randy Minchew is something he's kind of been vocal about for a while, and finally he's like, hey, we got to do something. And so there's a story about this in the Missourian, and then right after the story, in a great headline in the Missourian, by the way, I got to give him credit on this. Right after that happened, all of a sudden, people on the city council, well, we got to be secretive, blah, blah, blah. So it's doing something. People are talking about it, that's for sure. So let's find out where the other mayoral candidates stand on this issue, if you will. Tanya Heath is joining us. She is running for mayor of Columbia. Tanya, do you think that we should wait until after spring elections, because we could have potentially 2 new council people? As a matter of fact, I bet we will. I know for sure we'll have 1 new council person. But I'm going to bet, too, we'll have a new mayor. And Randy Minchew, who's running for mayor, like yourself, he says we should wait. Do you think we should wait until after the elections to appoint a new city manager?
Yes, I believe we definitely should wait. And the 2 reasons is that the new leadership coming in needs to be part of the selection process for who we hire as the city manager for Columbia. We are in a crucial time moving forward, and theoretically, the new city manager could stay employed for many years in council cycles. And so we need to make sure that the new leadership is also part of the conversation selecting that city manager.
All right, so Tanya Heath says, yes, I got to mention this, too. If you want to give a little plug, you have kind of a side gig besides teaching journal. By the way, every time I have you on the show, you know how nerve-wracking it is to talk to a professor of journalism? But you also do like a little side business, and since you helped out Wake Up Columbia recently, I'll let you get a little plug for it, just what you do, name and number.
Yes. I also have a biomat and a sound therapy machine, and my office is at Innate Health and Wellness, and my phone number is 573-808-1053, and it's just a great way and a natural way to let your body get relaxed and in sync so that you can have the most energy for your day.
And that warm heating pad that you had me lay on, that was splendid.
Exactly, because the body wants to be healthy, and sometimes we just need to give it a little support, and it can turn anything around, allergies or anything else, and there you go.
All right.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Tanya Heath running for mayor. Randy Minchew on 93.9 The Eagle this morning. You'll be able to hear his interview on the Wake Up Columbia podcast, Wake Up Columbia on demand anytime, all the time on the website, 939theeagle.com. He says, hey, we should wait. Barbara Buffalo, who I'm learning has a spectacular sense of humor, incidentally. So I sent a text to, I'm in the middle of doing the show here, right? And I'm without Stephanie Bell today. And so I text Barbara. I'm like, hey, Randy Minchew says this. What do you think? And she says, here's my opinion. And I type back, well, can you come on? And I type back, THA period JS, which Hannah knows. When I type THA period JS, Hannah knows it means...
It means thanks in Branden Rathert gibberish.
So I'm horribly embarrassed because I got the whole process wrong, Ms. Buffalo. I will write a text, send a text.
Just to read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got steps 2 and 3 backwards. Yeah. I send it, and then I read it and go, crap, I just told a mayoral candidate, Thage, H. And your response to that mayoral candidate, I should say, what was your response?
Mine was THAJS to you as well.
I like the sense of humor. Okay, Randy Minchew running for mayor. You are too. He says we should wait. We should wait until after the municipal elections in April before we go and hire a new city manager. Your take on that. What do you think we should do?
I don't think we can wait. So I think my response to you this morning was that I am very disappointed in the lack of community engagement in the process. working for the city for the last 11 years, we always had public presentations from the finalists, or at least updates along the way on where they were. So that's the part that I'm most frustrated in.
Okay.
The part where I don't see that we should wait is because this process started before John even announced he was retiring, because council knew that he was going to retire. So they started the process similar to years past. They had a consultant, CPS Consulting. They reached out, throughout the nation, pulled together a lot of really good candidates. Council weighed those. I think they did probably phone or web interviews with some of the key ones, and then they had in-person with the finalists. So everything about that is really similar to the past. And again, it's been going on for months.
Okay.
And to hold off until April, Branden, John retires January 14th. So that would leave us with 4 months without consistent, management and leadership from the city. And while we can do something on an interim basis, we'll lose potentially if we have a really good candidate. And at the same time, if we start over in April, how long is it going to be until we actually hire a new city manager?
Okay, and that's
while I'm disappointed in it,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, it's
yeah.
interesting because this has been. I think you're not the only one who's saying this is kind of. As a matter of fact, and I'll just go to a headline actually from the Missourian with decision shrouded in secrecy. City manager update promises that. And it was what's so interesting is that happened. And then guess what happened the day after that? Oh, we get some info. And then what I call a media dump late Friday afternoon, we get an update from city officials. And I know, and our previous guest, Tanya Heath, probably would have known, journalism will tell you. I don't think they teach it in journalism school, but when somebody
that is
releases.
a dead time.
Exactly. You know what I'm getting at. All right. Website.
Yeah. Oh, my mom was a journalist. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know the gig. So with the city of Columbia, or whoever it was specifically on Friday coming out with this info, we're trying to evade any kind of microscope being put on us because we ain't even comfortable with how we're handling this. That's what that headline tells me. Barbara Buffalo, mayor for candidate. Website, anything else you want to go before we let you go? Because I got to talk to Maria Arpaio.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. BuffaloForMayor.com is the website. I'm actually walking downtown right now for my coffee hours at 9 a.m. at Uprise. So, Branden, when you get done, if you all want to swing by,
do me a favor.
In person.
When you get there and you start the meeting, make sure you mention, hey, I was on with Branden Rathert on Wake Up Columbia, and he doesn't know how to spell.
I already tweeted it out.
And tell him.
Oh, you want me to call you out on your texting ability?
Yes, please do.
Because I think Hannah would support that I do that.
Thank you, Barbara. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, Maria Orapollo, also running for mayor. Maria.
Hi, Branden.
Hello. Welcome into the show. How are you?
Thanks. I'm just fine. Thanks very much for this.
Well, I'm glad to do it. I have much respect for Maria. We had her on the show the other day, and I don't know where I got this info, Hannah. But I start going, oh, she's a longtime employee with the city of, and she's, whoa, Branden, hold it. Don't know where I got it from. Okay, so you've heard the gig. Should we wait? Should the city of Columbia, should they wait until after the elections of April? 2 city council seats and the mayoral seat up for grabs. Should we wait until after then to hire a new city manager?
The answer is no, absolutely not.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Maria. Let's say you're elected mayor. Yeah. Would you have wanted to have some say so?
Actually, I would have, but not as mayor. And I'll tell you where it's different. In the last go-round, before we hired John Glasscock, the consultants came and they met with stakeholders in the community, people who are involved in either an important committee like the Finance Committee, which I am on. The NAACP was there. Race Matters Friends was there. I know some chamber groups were there. And we all met with the consultants separately, and we gave them information on what we think we should have in a city manager and why. When this process opened up, I reached out to city leaders and I said, my finance committee is ready for a new meeting with the consultants. And I was told, we're not doing it this time. Okay. I got to tell you, I've been talking about this for months because 2-3 years ago when they met with us, the city was in a whole different place than it is now. we've weathered 2 years of disruption due to the pandemic in governance, in schools, and certainly our businesses have suffered.
Okay.
And what's come out of this are the fault lines. We know where the fault lines are now. We know where we're failing and where we're doing well. So it's a different city than it was 3 years ago.
All right.
We should have been in that process, and we weren't.
Maria or Apollo with her opinion on whether or not we should. And I guess there's nothing legally that says we have to wait at all. Maria or Apollo, you got a website or anything you want to mention before we let you go?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You do. It's mariaformayor.org. As simple as that. mariaformayor.org.
How come
Thanks, Brandon, for this opportunity.
Maria, how come you didn't include your last name on that website?
Because it's all vowels.
I know. I'm teasing. I know.
Nobody knows how to say it. I know. So your Hannah,
yeah.
I did make her laugh when she asked me how to pronounce my last name. I said Buttigieg. You know, might as well.
I like that mayoral candidate sense of humor. Maria, have a great day.
You too, Brandon. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You go back and listen to all these interviews on the Wake Up Columbia podcast. Wake Up Columbia on demand, anytime, all the time. Coming up, Morning Bell with Stephanie Bell. Stephanie's taking the day off, so I'm going to take off my warm-up jacket, and I'm going to step up to the plate and try to pinch hit. First time it has ever happened. A company has done this, and it's not something, well, first time it's ever happened. Kind of unique. What's that accomplishment? We'll have that coming up. Morning Bell coming up, 8:20. Business Bureau. Check out their website, bbb.org.
Wake Up Columbia with Branden Rathert. Mid-Missouri is listening.
The law is certainly on the side of the school districts. I'm not really sure where the Attorney General is getting his authority. And there's a long history in Missouri and much of this country, and having schools protecting kids from the spread of diseases like
that.
This
is an attorney wondering. I would question, but his name is Elad Gross, and he's a civil rights, something like civil liberties attorney. He's an attorney. He says, I don't know where Eric Schmidt gets his authority from, which strikes me as odd. I am not an attorney, but I know the answer to that. I would think a third grader or a middle schooler or a high schooler at Rock Bridge should be able to say, well, I know where he gets his authority from. He's the Attorney General of the United States. So that's what I would tell this attorney who doesn't know where Eric Schmidt gets his authority from. I don't know. At meeting tonight, Columbia Public School Board, 6:30. We've had several people texting us, and I've had this, I guess parents sending their kids to school without a mask, saying, listen, we don't care what you say. Here's what a judge is saying. And now the Attorney General of the state of Missouri is saying, hey, here's what the judge said. But the school district, They're forging ahead. Can imagine what that is going to be like tonight. And I love what Nathan said earlier via text 874-9390. And now they want some money with a bond issue. Let's see how that goes. Ouch. Love it. Coming up, Fox News is here. There has been a death from the Omicron variant. I will tell you this. I know it wasn't here in the United States. Most stuff that I'm hearing about Omicron is like, yeah, it's just another new variant. And they tried to scare you, but there's nothing scary about it. That's what I'm hearing, okay? Then Brian Hauswirth is here, the Mid-Missouri effort to help with tornado cleanup here on 93.9 The Eagle. And then we're going to look into, by the way, some interesting text regarding this mayoral race in Columbia. Randy Minchew running for mayor said we should wait. We should wait to hire a city manager until after these elections. Interesting comments on that. We'll do that at 8:35. I have your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast. Sunny, 60 today, 66 tomorrow, 73. Our annual food drive right now, 35. Stop by Club Car Wash. Get an unlimited membership, $20 a month. More details at clubcarwash.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear says at least 80 people and likely more killed in Saturday's tornado there. Fox's Rick Reichmuth in Mayfield, Kentucky.
This specific tornado that cut through Mayfield was likely on the ground for over 200 miles, hitting a number of towns. There's still search and rescue efforts going on. There's still a lot of people who are unaccounted for, so that number is going to be fluid for a while.
FEMA Administrator Deanna Criswell says climate change is making weather more extreme.
We're seeing more intense storms, severe weather, whether it's hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires. And one of the focuses my agency is going to have is how can we start to reduce the impacts of these events as they continue to grow.
She was on ABC's This Week. After looking for 31 hours, the Coast Guard has suspended the search for a woman who went overboard from a Carnival cruise ship off Mexico. The ship's back in Long Beach, California. America's listening to Fox News.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 8:31. We're expecting a high today of around 60. Mostly clear tonight, low near 43. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 66 degrees. Right now in Columbia, it's 37 degrees, 36 degrees in Columbia. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. Quick update. I just got off the phone with Joint Communications following up on those texts that Branden had received about Pershing Creek Bridge. What I'm told by authorities, actually, that semi is on the side of the road on eastbound I-70 near Pershing Creek, and traffic is flowing again right now. It had been backed up a little bit earlier as people slowed down, but that's eastbound I-70. You might notice a semi on the side of the road, but traffic is flowing once again. 48 members of Missouri Task Force 1 have arrived in tornado-damaged Kentucky Kentucky this morning in response to the devastating tornadoes there. Missouri Task Force 1 has arrived in Murray, Kentucky at Murray State University. They're still awaiting their mission assignment. Missouri's governor says at least 4 people have been killed in the Show Me State from Friday night's devastating tornadoes. Governor Mike Parson touring damaged areas near Defiance and the Caruthersville area on Sunday. He says the National Weather Service issued 31 tornado warnings in Missouri Friday night. Columbia School Board will be voting tonight on whether or not to extend the indoor mask requirement. The board meets at 6:30. The mask issue is an action item on the agenda. CPS's Michelle Baumstark says the board has received both letters from Missouri's Attorney General Eric Schmidt. She notes it will be up to the board tonight, 6:30. Their meeting. And Columbia School Board Finance Committee has voted to recommend placing an $80 million bond issue on the April ballot. That proposal would fund several projects, including a new elementary school, career center improvements as well. A detailed story on this, 939theeagle.com. Our news is brought to you on this Monday morning by Hemi Construction, homes and lots in the southwest neighborhoods of Chapel Hill Meadows, Nursery Heights, and Creek's Edge. 939 The Eagle News Time, 8:33. Turning our attention now to sports, the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Raiders yesterday at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, 48-9. Final score there. The Chiefs are now 9-4 on the year. They lead the AFC West. They'll play again on Thursday evening. Our sports is brought to you this hour by the great folks at Hemi Construction. Hemi Construction here in Columbia. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:34.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check is brought to you by MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. MidmoHires.com. Find a job, post your job opening today. Roads right now quiet in mid-Missouri. Again, that situation on the Pershing Creek all cleared up right now. A semi on the side of the road, eastbound I-70. Traffic is flowing fine right now. If you do want to report a traffic issue, give us a call or a text, 573-874-9390. We'll have more team coverage in less than 30 minutes and breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
After 18 years, I have decided to leave Fox. I want to try something new, to go beyond politics to all the things I'm interested in. I'm ready for a new adventure, and I hope you'll check it out.
Not too many people have been at Fox longer than Chris Wallace has, announcing yesterday at the end of his show that he's leaving, and then hours later announced he's going to CNN.
CNN. I did not know where he was going.
CNN Plus. So it's a streaming service. I'm guessing he'd move over. And we were just talking about this the other day. Cuomo out. Brian Williams, MSNBC. He's out. So we expect to see some jockeying here in the coming months as everybody tries to fortify for the year 2020. Chris Wallace saying he's going to go work for CNN Plus. And what he wants to do, from what I gather from talking to people at Fox and hearing some of his story, kind of like, I guess it's not like Dan Rather. Dan Rather was forced out for lying and trying to sucker punch a president with untrue stuff at the time. But Dan Rather is ultimately, he still does some kind of programs, and I don't know where they air, but I have on my cable the Axis Network, Axis TV, AXIS. It's a lot of music and concerts and Dan Rather interviews, and they're not newsy. It's like Dan Rather interviewing Sammy Hagar.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of like...
when Tim Rathert was at the top of his game, what he would do sometimes during the week on Sundays, hard-hitting, very fair, by the way, hard-hitting, but during the week he might bring in Yogi Berra, or he might bring in baseball players that they were a little light. I know with some of we talk about Chris Wallace, with some of our audience, just based on what I've heard, some of our audience doesn't like Chris Wallace.
That's very polite, Hauswirth.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed a show. I mean, if you look at the guests that he has on, he's pretty tough with both. Now he has a strategy. He will put stuff on, and he will try to find things they say in an interview that contradict previous things. Sure. But he does that with both sides. Lindsey Graham really had good things to say about it.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Chris Wallace, and you're right. There's a lot of, I can't stand him. But you know what? If you're wanting news, I mean, seriously, where do you get national news? Because I will tell you this, I immediately, and no offense to any of our local outlets that are affiliates of ABC, CBS, or NBC, I cannot watch those at night when I do watch the news. David Muir on ABC, my goodness, the world is coming to an end every single night, and there's red graphics. And I love ABC News, man. Nobody does local news. Hauswirth, ABC 17, the folks there, Lucas Geisler, Deborah Kendrick.
Great people.
Zach Boetto has done some really good work. And there's another guy, he's a reporter. Ben
Fine.
Ben Fine.
Yeah, Ben Fine's reporting he's primarily a street reporter in the mornings, and we've used him several times in our morning report, primarily, and we had another Shots Fired incident, maybe 2 over the weekend, and we used him. A lot of talent there.
So there's some good people. So this is nothing against our local ABC 17 affiliate. David Muir at night. My goodness. Everything's in red graphics. Everything. I'm telling you, watch it tonight if you've never watched it. It's 30 minutes of red graphics, breaking news, developing news, new, overnight. Everything is flashing red, and David is coming on, and tonight we begin where... it's just hell and damnation. So you rule out those 3, ABC, because I've tried the others. It's all the same. For straight news on a national level, on TV, where do you go? There's nowhere that I can see to go for straight news. I would bet a week's worth of Hannah's salary. You could throw a bunch of money at somebody. Say, here, start a news organization. Do not make sure it's news and nothing but the news. That would be like giving an 8-year-old a piece of paper and say, here, please explain the theory of something fancy that I don't know about.
Wow, you nailed that.
Pythagorean? Is that a word? Is that a thing? Theory of Pythagorean?
The Pythagorean theory?
The Pythagorean theory. Write this down. Give a kid a piece of paper. Hell, give Rathert a piece of paper. Rathert, explain the Pythagorean theory. If you would get the same expression if you gave somebody a buttload of cash. Start a news organization and make it just the news, unbiased, and do it for 24 hours a day, which might be ultimately the problem. You could not make, or people would have, how do I make a news station without somebody give an opinion or criticizing Republicans or criticizing the president? They would give you this look like you've just asked them to write out the theory of Pythagorean. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thought, I don't get to see the Muir and some of the other newscasts that you're referring to. I did grow up, and as did you, and we remember John Chancellor and, just a different era. And they did. I also thought that they covered, back in those days, they covered the conventions better. There's no doubt in my mind. They covered it better in less talking heads and more interviews. The anchors would be down, Chancellor would be down there on the floor with Governor Reagan or whatever, or President Carter. And they have so many talking heads now. It's just as opposed to hearing from the newsmaker themselves.
You throw a boatload of money at somebody, start a news station, all news, no opinion. They'd be baffled. Chris Wallace, kind of one of those people on Fox. Brett Baer, I would consider one of those to an extent. Bill Hemmer, and then on the other networks, I don't know. And I think Chris Wallace took some criticism for that sometimes because he wasn't always towing the company line of the mothership. Well, he said something that wasn't true about conservatives or about, and it could be true, and people would still be mad because he wasn't towing the party line. That's just my.
And the last thing I'd say about Chris Wallace, if you remember, he was the first moderator, and President Trump and at that time former Vice President Biden. and it got very heated, and neither one of them were obeying the ground rules that were set up there. Both of them were going over their times, but he handled it as best he could.
Well, he opened up a beer, opened up a bag of chips, and watched the rest of the thing. So Chris Wallace leaving Fox News. He was there for 18 years. He's leaving, going to CNN. Plus, welcome into the show. This is Wake Up Columbia. Mr. Brian Hauswirth.
Good morning.
Hannah, the producer, is here.
What up?
My name is Branden Rathert. Bobby texts Lester Holt from NBC. Yuck. He's kind of like David Muir and, oh, my God, the world is coming to an end. You need to go find shelter in your basement right now. Jamie, BBC News. You know what? BBC's website is actually very good, and I'll tell you why. It's news, BBC News on their website. Their News on America, I find it pretty good. It's the story. Seldomly do I find opinion in there. So I would agree with that. Want to do another episode of Psaki v. Jen Psaki, White House spokesperson versus whoever is in her line of fire next? Okay, let's do it. But Hannah says we can't do it here. We got to do it later.
Dude, don't throw me under the bus like that.
Because we are running behind?
You're not running behind yet, but...
Right. Let me do this real quick. Reporter asking Jen Psaki, White House. She's saying, hey, AOC, you know who she is, right? One who just learned how to run a garbage disposal? Yeah, her. She says, and I'm not making this up, what this reporter says. We saw more this weekend. One of these smash and grabs so bold, I think it was California, a guy stood at the door, a crook, a thief, stood at the door with a gun to not let anybody in. AOC says, oh, these things, they're not really happening. And then Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, she's victim blaming. She's blaming the businesses.
Some of the retailers downtown in Michigan Avenue, I will tell you, I'm disappointed that they're not doing more.
That's horrible. People vote for people vote for Democrats. That's what Democrats do. So a reporter asked Psaki, says, hey, AOC says this is not even happening. Psaki, your thoughts.
Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, said earlier this week also that she doubted allegations of organized retail thefts. She believed it was a Walgreens in California that cited it, but the data didn't back it up. Does the president believe that organized retail theft is really happening, and should it be on the stores themselves to take action to prevent it?
Well, we don't agree.
Well, we don't agree. Way to go out on a limb there, Jen Psaki. Talented mechanics here in mid-Missouri. But here's why I personally like GAPS. Number one, talented mechanics, always in training. They can work on just about anything, but they know my car. And that's just so important because I get it. Anybody go in, they enter your VIN. Oh, yeah, last time, we did this, and that. Yeah, I know. But for me, there's something to be said for it's the same, since it is a small local business, something to be said for the same people that are working on my car every time, and I appreciate that, and I think that you would appreciate that too. Check them out. GAPS Automotive Repair Shop. They're on Vandiver in Columbia and also in Boonville.
Wake Up Columbia on 93.9 The Eagle. The world is watching on Facebook Live. Are you?
Thank you for joining. I come to you with not great news. If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group being laid off. Your employment here is terminated.
Man, that's harsh. That's from Better.com. I saw this story last week. This is, and I get it, man. Listen, if you don't have any more money, I don't care what time of year it is. If it's Easter, if it's 4th of July, if it's the middle of August and it's 98 outside. If I ain't got no money to pay nobody or get English lessons, can't do it. It's gone viral. This guy does a Zoom call, and he's got a couple hundred people. And he says, by the way, since you're on this call this afternoon, you're done. Effective, immediately. As a matter of fact, some folks are saying they got off the Zoom call and they go to start getting stuff out of their accounts or whatever. So they were locked out immediately. That was the CEO of a company called Better.com. Hannah, are you familiar with what Better.com does? I don't either. Welcome into the show. Stephanie has the day off. Wake Up Columbia. I'm Branden. That is Hannah. Brian Hauswirth is here too. Let's bring in Car Santa from Cars4Heroes. We would like to help out a veteran with some transportation. How was your weekend, Car Santa?
Actually been awful busy, Branden. You know, we're getting set up for December 22nd. We're going to give about 15 cars away in Kansas City. I'm working with Galen in Columbia. We're giving 2 more away up there, and him and I will get together today and figure out the official day we're going to give them away. So we're still looking for good applicants in the Columbia area, and we're doing lots of other things this year that I've added to the pile. As Shamrock Roofs is a big supporter. They are in Kansas City. They're in St. Louis. I'm convincing them to try to come to Columbia, but they're going to give a roof away every quarter to somebody in need. So if you know somebody in that Columbia area, it still covers it, that is in need of a roof, tell them to get onto our website and apply. And I've got windows somebody wants to put in with Window Nation. We've got a ramp if somebody needs a ramp built at their home, a wheelchair ramp. I got 40 bicycles. I just gave 20 away out at Whiteman at the for the military kids out there. We got 20 more to go, but we've kind of added a lot more stuff this year. So what I'm trying to do is coordinate all that, and I don't really like to work that hard, so I'm trying to get other people to do it.
Car Santa is being honest. You're like me, big picture guy. Like, I think I have these great ideas, and then my first phone call is to Hannah or Stephanie. Hey, I have this. I don't want to. I got this idea, but I don't want to. And the program is Cars4Heroes. We do a lot with veterans, but it's not necessarily just for veterans. Cars4Heroes. If somebody wants to nominate somebody, or somebody says, "Hey, I know somebody that could use some transportation, or maybe a roof here in mid-Missouri," what is the best way to get that info from you, Car Santa?
They can go right to Cars, the number 4. heroes.org, and if there isn't an application for it, just contact us, tell us what you want to do. We need cars. I am not exaggerating when I say every 3 minutes I get another request. So the requests are obviously coming in faster than the donations, but Columbia, the people have been great up there. And we got so many things going on. If you got something you want to do, I had somebody call me yesterday. They have a little charity that they only do once a year, and they said, "Hey, we're buying 100 new sleeping bags for the homeless. Can you help us get rid of them?" Well, it's not what I do, but I do have a few connections, so I make those Hannah phone calls and say, "Hey, somebody that needs 100 sleeping bags. I got somebody out here who wants to give them away." So if you have something that you want to do, or if you know somebody that's in need. That's what I get. A lot of people, a lot of these heroes say, "Oh, somebody else is more deserving." And this is what it's all about. Let us decide whether you're deserving or not, but get your application in so we can make that choice.
And I got to say this before I let you go, Car Santa, with the Cars4Heroes, does this a lot, has been doing this. And I hate to use the phrase vet, but whenever somebody says, "Hey, I know a hero in my mind that could use some transportation," we check out the story just to confirm everything that they're saying. So we make sure that the folks that really need some transportation or a roof or windows will do this. Cars4Heroes. Car Santa, thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Here's a big old serving of leftovers on 93.9 The Eagle. Enjoy.
All right, leftover. Some of the things we did not get to today. I think we got into everything. I'll tell you one of the things that seems to be emerging as we get ready for tonight's Columbia Public School Board meeting. I think they meet at 6:30. Get there early if you plan on speaking. They have rules in place. Expected to vote on the mask mandate and quarantine, all that stuff that our Attorney General, Eric Schmidt, said, hey, just so you know, this ain't coming from me, but a judge, here's what a judge had to say. And one attorney doesn't know where our Attorney General, Eric Schmidt, doesn't know where he gets the authority from.
The law is certainly on the side of the school districts. I'm not really sure where the Attorney General is getting his authority. And
I think it's because he's the Attorney General, and I'm not sure. But here's what I did to fact check that. So that is Elad Gross. He's not a civil rights attorney, but civil liberties or something. And he unsuccessfully ran against Eric Schmidt. So I wasn't sure, Hannah. So what I did to fact check that information, I thought, well, he gets his authority because I thought, well, let me make sure I got this right.
The law is certainly on the side of the school districts. I'm not really sure where the Attorney General is getting his authority. And
So here's what I did. I asked Stephanie's oldest kid, Drew. I think he's 9.
He's 10.
10?
Yeah.
All right. So what is that, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 5th grade? Hell, I don't know. I asked him, I said, hey, Drew, Elad Gross, who is an attorney, by the way, I was wondering if you could help him out. And Drew, he's 10. He's throwing out candy at this parade that we're at. He's like, well, what do you want, Mr. Rathert? I'm like, I hadn't thought about this, but this attorney, Elad Gross, says he doesn't know where Eric Schmidt gets his authority from and trying to tell the Columbia Public School District, really just saying, hey, remember this judge ruled on this? Oh, and by the way, we're going to go ahead and investigate you. That's different than a lawsuit. Our school district, 20,000 students, almost 40,000 parents. It's being investigated. Jesus Christ. By the Attorney General's office. That's sad. So I asked Drew, I said, Drew, where does Eric Schmidt get his power from? And he said to me, little Drew did, 10-year-old Drew Bell, said, well, 2 things, Mr. Rathert. Number 1, he is the Attorney General, but ultimately, Branden, he gets his attorney from you, the people who voted for him.